And joining me tonight on the stack, I have MSP. You can see them in Limitless, Pro Wrestling Grind, Chaotic, Beyond. They're the PWI number 50 tag team, number 35 and 34 on the Outsports QWI 200. Basically all over the Northeast, just like tearing it up the whole way. So please welcome DangerKid and Ed Agro, MSP.
Hi, Val.
Hi, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I super appreciate you coming on the show. Again, and I've told you both this, and I've mentioned it on Twitter too, like you were definitely like a bucket list interview for me, and to kind of like close out kind of my year on like such a high note is very thrilling for me. So thank you so much.
It's our pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. Super stoked to sit down and talk with Val.
Yeah, stack.
Come on, let's go.
We're born for the stack. We're here. Let's go.
Oh, you guys are the best. So what were you both like as kids? And we'll start with DK this time.
Oh, that's a new one.
I already
Very
love
unique
it
question.
here.
I like
Honestly, okay, we were talking about a little bit before, like we went live here, and like we were just kind of bad at podcasts. Part of that is kind of because it's like, you know, an hour, sometimes more of our time, and everybody just always asks the same questions, you know, which is okay, but after a while, it gets so tiresome, and that is a question we've never heard before.
That is a fresh question.
So I love it here.
That is a hot and ready fresh question.
For that.
Love it.
All right, now so as a kid, I was a loser, honestly.
Wow, laid on heavy.
I'm just speaking the truth. Like I was a little bit of a chunky kid before I like had my growth spurt. I was the kid that liked wrestling. So I always got really pestered for that, as I'm sure a lot of people can identify with. I know like you probably have a little bit of that too. Like, I actually even like got done with wrestling. Like there was a point like probably around the 8th grade year where I moved to a different place, and I was like, this is my fresh start. And I pretty much dropped wrestling, got really into music and stuff, which I'm sure will come up later. But yeah, no, I was kind of a loser, kind of a loner. I was obsessed with wrestling. I had tons of action figures. They're to my right, still in this room. I still have all of them.
There's a lot in here.
I would play with those. I had like a trampoline in my backyard, and I had like these like kind of like child size like stuffed animals, like 2 foot in length, like stuffed animals. There was a Pikachu and a Squirtle, I think like pillow size, and like they had like arms and legs and stuff, and like I would do moves on them. I like push the trampoline up against like the propane tank out back, which was probably not the best idea, but like I would jump off the propane tank and onto the trampoline and like do swanton bombs and stuff, and like, but I would just kind of play with myself, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
Yeah.
And no, yeah, I was definitely like a weird kid. I was definitely picked on a lot, bullied a lot, all that jazz. I came from a very poor and just honestly dirty household. Like when I was a kid. Yeah, I did not have a lot of good stuff going on, honestly. Luckily, I think I turned out all right, all things considered. So
nice. What's your favorite action figure?
I was just looking to see which one I like most, and it's kind of overwhelming. Like you can see some, you can see some up on the wall, but there's like a whole like this whole wall is like covered.
We're just
gonna show.
we have the power. We have the power. So I got some action figures, to say the least. My AEW one's up there. I'm just gonna show you. Why not?
Please do.
We can get portable on the stack, whatever. Honestly, probably my favorite one is, let's see, right here. My main boy from Westbrook, Maine, Scotty Too Hottie. It's I got a stupid good deal on that figure. It's like a $90 figure in that condition, like in the box and everything. So, and he is from Maine. I've got stuff all over my office. This is crazy right now. I should not have taken this on the road, but here we are. Yeah, that's probably my favorite figure I've got some good ones though. I could sit here and we could do a whole show about just the pieces that I have.
I have a cool room too, Val. We're just not at my house. But my
sure you do.
Listen, okay. Listen, this isn't up for debate right now. I have a cool room.
You just got a new house.
I know, but my room is still cool. It's not done, but it's still cool.
We're getting
I have a TV mounted on my wall.
I don't have that. I live in an apartment. I can't mount things on the walls. But
see the perks of owning your own place. You put holes.
So your hot water heater goes out.
Hey, that's already happened.
Already?
I took it apart like 6 times and I still didn't know what was going on with it. And I swear to God, I pushed the reset button after I had already done it like 100 times before, and it just like started making noise. I was like, I did it. I'm a homeowner and I did it. I really hope that nothing else goes wrong with it because I am at a total loss of what I'll do next. But full disclosure, yeah, my hot water heater already.
You have the worst luck with like home appliances.
Dude, it's fine though. It's fine because I figured it out. We're good. Okay. So I was a poor kid too, and I lived in one of those low-income housing areas in this city that we live in, and Bang. Everybody calls it Bangor, but it's Bangor. It's Bangor, and it would blow your mind how many people actually like still say Banger, and like to us it seems self-explanatory. Just sound it out. It's Bangor, but literally anybody that comes here from out of state does not get it. But anyway, lived in a low-income. I didn't cover it right. Lived in a low-income housing. Aged like 7. And that's when my sister was born, and like my mom raised us by herself. So I ended up like taking care of my sister for like the first half of like my young, childhood. And had friends that were into wrestling, and that's how I got into wrestling. Did the same deal. I had a friend just up the street from me that had a trampoline, and that's where I first dove into the business, so to speak. Yeah, we used to just wrestle his siblings and hurt them and then get in trouble for hurting them, and then that evolved. Like even once I was in high school, like we still had our little backyard stuff where we would just throw mattresses outside and just do all our favorite wrestlers' moves.
See, that's the funny thing. Like we both did the same thing. Like I credit a trampoline from the only reason I can do a front flip. We both did like the trampoline wrestling stuff. The difference is you had friends to do it with. I did not.
I wasn't popular. I just had other weird friends that like wrestling.
I was not popular, and I lived in the boonies too. So like there was nobody around either. Even if I did have friends.
Yeah, if they were close, they were like 3 miles away.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but yeah, for the most part, yeah. And then pretty much same as you too. Fell out of wrestling in high school because we were chasing other things. With all those hormones racing. You know what I mean?
Girls.
And and honestly I didn't get back into wrestling until I was like 25, and that's how we kind of came together, so to speak. But yeah, childhood, I guess we kind of ran parallel path, didn't we?
Somewhat, yeah.
I'm just learning this today too, so honestly, that's cool.
Yeah, no, we really did, because like
we don't talk much. I have no idea like what he's like at all.
You guys are only together.
We've been tagging for almost 7 years, but I have no idea. Like
I am like one of the most social introverts you'll probably ever meet. I am very like I keep a lot of stuff internalized. I don't really mean to be like that. I just kind of am. Yeah, so there's probably a little bit of truth to that, but no, like we really did have parallel paths, because like we both got done with wrestling, both got into music, we both played live music. That's how we actually met and everything. Mm-hmm. So and then training, pretty much day one almost together. So like, yeah, honestly, the parallels of our lives are kind of crazy. We were meant to be together.
Yeah, it's true. Aww. But we don't want to get you too far off the rails, Val. Like I'm sure this can segue, like all of these like statements we're making can segue into another question.
Oh, we can talk forever.
We can talk, baby. We can do this.
It is, nobody's here to watch me. Everyone's here for you.
That's not true.
We're here to watch you.
Wherever y'all want to take this conversation, that's where we're going.
Well, you already asked a question that we hadn't been asked before, so I kind of like whatever you got, like, is sitting in front of you right now. So, like, we can do whatever.
Yeah, no,
I mean, all downhill from here. I don't know. Stuff.
Oh no, it's not possible. I don't believe it.
So you guys kind of had similar paths growing up. You just weren't together, and then you said that you met playing music, and then got into wrestling together and decided to tag team. Like, can you kind of like, so now we have the individual stories. Let's hear like the MSP as a team story.
Always fun. Like, all right, so like we didn't play music together ever, but we around Bangor and like the kind of like punk hardcore metal scene, we played with similar people. Some band members that we both shared in different projects and stuff, not necessarily at the same time, but you know what I mean? So, some acquaintances there.
I don't even think we ever played on the same show.
No,
like we were always in bands, but we were always in separate bands. And like we would cross paths like from time to time. I wouldn't even say a whole bunch, really.
No, not really.
It was more
just knew of each other.
It was more like members of my band knew him, and we ended up hanging out as a result. And like randomly, the guitar player in my band was like, hey, so-and-so Danny from this band is like watching a wrestling pay-per-view. Do you want to go over to his place and watch it? I was like, what?
When I lived downtown, right?
When you lived downtown.
So that would have been right when I was getting back into wrestling, well after high school, probably like age like 20 or so. Like there was just a day I had like, that spark where I was like,
I would have been like 24.
Yeah. And I was just kind of like, wow, why did I ever stop watching this? Why do I give a fuck what other people think? And kind of just like, this is right when like the network came out, so thinking back to when I was a kid, when, like if you wanted to watch a pay-per-view, like you couldn't just
pay like $50 and
like insane.
Hope you had an adult that was willing to do it.
Or like if you wanted to see a past event, you had to like, go out and buy the tape or DVD or, whatever. Like, so for like, I remember when the network came out, I heard about it, cause they're obviously like advertising that like crazy. I was like, damn, actually $10 for all the past events, all this extra stuff, and all like the live pay-per-views as they come out. I was like, that's like a really good deal. I haven't watched wrestling in years, but that kind of was like, all right, let me check this. Let me see if I still like this. I should. I don't know why I stopped. I just didn't want to be the fucking loser kid, So, so right around that time, yeah, that happens. And this didn't all happen right away. That happened.
Yeah, no, like I came over and we watched the pay-per-view, and I think that was the first time that we actually like had met like and actually hung out.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
So at this point we're acquaintances. We realized, oh hey, we both like wrestling. Once I got there, oh hey, yeah, you like wrestling, yeah, and then we
music too.
We just and then we just kind of vibed from there. Yeah. And like even so, we were still just acquaintances. And okay, so fast forward.
Mm-hmm. So basically, like that continues on like 6 months later. So what it was. I can't remember how. I think it was listening to Colt Cabana's podcast, The Art of Wrestling, and I was hearing all this new, like, because I'm now at this point, like I'm fully back in wrestling. I am obsessed because that's my personality. I get obsessed with something and then just fucking dig into it. So I'd be at work listening to Colt Cabana, and he's got all these. I used to listen to all the WWE guys, all the people that I knew, right? And then eventually I got through all those episodes. So then I was like, well, I really like this podcast, but I don't know any of these other fucking people. But I was like, well, fuck it. I'm just gonna listen to them. I don't know who these people are, but I'm just gonna go for it. And now I start finding out about indie wrestling, and this is like really the first time I'd ever like really been introduced to it. So I'm hearing all this stuff. I'm hearing how people are breaking into the business, how the business kind of works, all this stuff. And eventually I was like, I kind of like want to do this, but I wasn't super like serious about that thought yet. But either way, I found this local company that was running right across the bridge, 2 miles from my house. And I was like, I gotta go check this out. I had another buddy from college, and like, we went to go check it out because he loved wrestling too. And I was like, let's go to this thing. It's probably gonna be like weird, but it'll be fun. So
okay, pause. I'll pause you. I'll pause you right there, because now I feel like I can jump in and give you my part of the story, and then we can bring this full circle.
Bridge.
So
yes, this is the best.
So I was like completely opposite, but in the same realm of like, do I still love wrestling? I know I used to. Do I still love wrestling? I had Hulu actually, and that's when like they had the Raw replays on there. This was like probably like, you know, months before the network was like announced and was released.
Like
and
2014, 13, 14, probably like 2013,
something like that.
2014, somewhere in that ball.
And so I just started watching an episode of Raw to see if I still felt anything for wrestling. And I got through, like, they were like the condensed 90-minute episodes, and I watched the whole thing and I was like, oh, shit, I love wrestling still. This is 25-year-old me. And so as soon as I watched that episode, literally I couldn't tell you like the span of time, but I remember it as very quickly. I just started scouring Facebook to see where I could train. I was like, I'm 25, like I am not getting any younger. Like I'm not just gonna have that what if, you know, when I'm old and like looking back at my life. So I found a local company that was like only a couple miles across the bridge from where I lived. And I contacted, which at the time I didn't realize was the promoter. And, you know, I just hit up the company's Facebook page, and I was like, hey, do you guys do any kind of like wrestling training? And they got back to me like within a day or so, and they're like, yeah, show up the day of show and just like bring $30. So, legit, I at this time had zero knowledge of indie wrestling, none whatsoever. I was strictly like a casual like WWE fan,
and just getting back into it. Like you had taken a significant breaks,
big sabbatical.
So you were just like fed only.
Yeah. So the only thing I knew at this point was WWE. So I had it in my mind that I was gonna find a wrestling school. I was going to train for 2 years because I saw somewhere that was like a prerequisite for being like a candidate for WWE. And I was like, okay, perfect. I'm going to go train and I'm going to wrestle for 2 years, and then I'm going to go try out for WWE, and everything's going to be fucking sunshine and daisies from here on out. And then I actually started wrestling, and then none of that's true. But we'll get to that. So I went to this first training session for this local company, and we got there at like noon, and you set up the ring, you set up all the chairs, you know, all the typical stuff that goes into getting a show set up. And
like 2-3 hours of work.
2 or 3 hours of work, from noon to about like 2:33, and then everybody changed into their shorts and put their pads on and their wrestling boots, and we would do like 4 or 5 hours of training before the show started that night. So we get about halfway through training, and I go out for probably a smoke break at this point. And
you had just gotten done.
We just gotten done class. We just gotten
you guys had just gotten done. We're thinking, you know, like 6:30. So like this is the same show. His first practice was the same show that me and my buddy, just random dude, like shout out Tommy Avalon. I'm gonna send him that clip. So we go and we're waiting in line outside. This show, and like this is like prime like shindy wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
This show is in a banquet hall with a super low ceiling. Like you could not do like a superplex in the ring in this venue.
The banquet hall was behind a restaurant, mind you. So you had to walk into the restaurant and go all the way to the back of the restaurant to get to the banquet hall to where the show was.
Yeah. So like if you didn't really know, it was not easy to find.
It was a big if you know, you know scenario.
So like the line was, like in the restaurant. Like
I'm sure they loved that.
Like they're waiting to like let us in. You can't see anything going on. It's completely closed doors. So we're in line. We're waiting to get in. You pay all that stuff, go find a seat. And this dude just waltzes out from where we're waiting to get into, wearing shorts and knee pads and like wrestling shoes and everything, and just waltz up. And I'm like, hey dude, what are you doing? And he was, I just had my first day of wrestling training. And I legit looked at him just like,
you can train here?
I think what I actually said was,
but he said it straight face.
No, I'm pretty sure I said it exactly like, you can do that. and he was like, yeah, dude, I just did it for like 3 hours. Awesome. Yeah, and like all this stuff. And I was like, I'll be there at the next one.
He said, I'm going.
I'm going. I'll be there at the next one. Next one is like, Skowhegan's like an hour and a half away.
Yeah, hour and a half away.
Next one's in Skowhegan, like an hour and a half away. You know, we are, you know, acquaintances. We're not like super buddy yet, but I'm like, I don't have a car. I'm like, dude, if you can bring me, I'm going. And like, he fucking brought me. We rode. We fucking got there at noon. We set all the shit up. We're in an even shittier venue, and I'm just like enthralled. And I'm just like, this is my life now. Like it was just off to the races from there. So your second practice was my first. And we have been right there attached to each other's hip ever since. Our first match was together. Our
first singles match was against each other.
Yeah, all the basics and moves that we learned early on, we did it together and on each other and everything. Like, we are a true tag team, man. Like, I will say that through and through to the end.
Thanks.
You know, we might not be the best tag team out there.
Yes, we are.
But goddamn, we are probably one of the truest tag teams out there. And you cannot convince me otherwise.
I love that. That is a better love story than, like, I don't know, Titanic. I don't watch those stories.
You can't make it up. You can't.
Yeah, right.
Swear to God.
Like, I've seen, like, that's better than Hallmark. Like, that's perfect. I love it. Like, that you two have been so, like, on such a similar path, and then to kind of meet up like that and to like move together. Like, that's adorable.
It really is. We're cute as shit. I won't lie.
We're adorable.
You truly are. I mean, you said you may not be the best tag team, and best is a hard word to quantify, but you're definitely, like, probably the cutest, for sure. Especially after all that.
Sure. Come on, Val.
We can go home. That's it. Better than that. That's great. You're so sweet. Thank you.
Well, you guys are so much fun. Like, that was like the best origin story.
We're just us.
It's just, again, you can't write that shit. That's just legit how it all went. I mean, some of those details might be a little weird, but you know, that was close to set. That was over 7 years ago now at this point. So yeah, crazy stuff. Yeah, we trained at that place for really 7 or 8 months.
It was about 7 or 8 months we trained before we actually had our first match.
Because that was like September, October. Go around to April, we had our first match. I don't know numbers, however long that is at the time frame. And our first match was like 4 minutes long, and
we didn't do anything.
No, but we were together.
But we were in a match. We wrestled.
Lockups, just lockups.
I don't even know if we did that.
More like just.
I think they jumped us and beat us up for like 4 minutes, and then
it was like a very small show, very small roster.
It was in nowhere, Maine, and you think where we live is nowhere, Maine? Like, it kind of like we're in like northern central Maine, and the bigger cities are farther south, like Portland, Augusta. We were about an hour and a half, 2 hours north of where we are right now in Bangor, in central Maine.
So our first match was in Island Falls, Maine. The only good thing about this small ass town is their chocolate milk. They have incredible chocolate milk that you can get by the carton. There's a store across the street, and every time we wrestled up there, it was like a frenzy to get there first because the wrestlers would always buy them out. Sometimes the locals would buy it out before we could even get there. Incredible chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Legit tasted like a melted fudgicle. Just a carton of that. incredible. But like
Fudge,
to tell
fudge,
you,
do you say fudgicle? Fudgesicle?
fudgesicle.
Fudgesicle. What do you say, Val? Is it fudgicle or fudgesicle?
It is fudgesicle.
Fudgesicle.
I just
Like a
fudgesicle.
fudge-
Thank you.
I
Like
think
a fudge popsicle.
I just get going too
Fudgesicle.
fast. No, you're right. You guys are absolutely right. Thanks for calling me out. Appreciate that. But the point I was trying to make, like I remember one time we rolled up to this town in the winter, and we rolled up to a gas station before going to the venue, and there was multiple like people at this gas station, like inside, you know what I mean, like patrons, whatever, but not a single car in the parking lot. All snowmobiles.
All snowmobiles.
Legitimately, that's how much of a like
where you're from, snow machine.
like a fucking small ass podunk town this was. Like people just rolled to the general store on their snowmobile. Like why bother taking the whip? You know what I mean?
What do you think they all did when a bunch of fucking kids like us walk in?
I'm from a really small town in the middle of South Dakota, so that's I understand.
And like that,
So you get it. You totally get it.
I know small town.
So what's the population there though?
50?
Okay,
All right, a little bit more. I think Island Falls has a population of like 300 something.
A few hundred. Once you go to northern Maine, like there aren't even like town names anymore. It's like
Township 28.
Township 28 or RU.
This is like a plot of land.
3. Like
could
it's
be a
the
town.
populations are so small that they just don't give them a name. most of northern Maine is like all woods and wilderness. Like if you go to northern Maine, you will see a moose, guaranteed. Every time I've been to northern Maine, I've always seen a moose.
I want to see a moose so bad.
They're
I've never seen one.
gigantic. No, you don't want to see one.
They're terrifying.
Like, they're not mean. Don't get me wrong. They're not mean. They're territorial, but they're not mean. But they are gigantic. Like you don't realize. Like you can look at a moose in a picture and be like, "That looks big," but then you see a moose in real life and you're like, "That's big."
And it's like the underbelly, so it's like standing on all fours. Like the underbelly of a moose is like the top of your car.
Yo, I was driving 80 on 95, maybe 85, 90, and it was like midnight. And they're not like deer where their eyes like reflect in your headlights, so you don't see them coming, and that's why they're so dangerous. But I literally drove past a moose that was standing right next to the line on 95, and his chest was above my Jeep. Absolutely insane. Like gigantic creatures, majestic animals.
So you want to see one when you're not in a vehicle, basically, is
Facts.
what we're saying.
Facts.
I want to see one in the daylight.
Yeah,
where I can like
Absolutely.
see it. You know,
Absolutely.
I don't want a surprise moose. I want like I know it's coming moose.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
from a distance, probably.
100%.
They're huge.
Yeah, a safe
Terrifying.
distance for sure.
Yeah, of course, they're terrifying. So that's that.
I definitely would never try to ride.
Like first match to moose, like real quick. We're off the rails. It's cool. We're good.
I'm
You're doing
vibing.
great, Val.
I told you.
Like I said, like nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Like this is all you
Yes,
guys.
they
So whatever
do.
you want.
Yeah.
I'm not the one doing cool moves in the ring. That's y'all.
We're doing
So-
cool things.
No,
Which
you're doing cool things to the masses.
this is the stat. Going
You all are too kind. So you trained at the Shindy.
Yes.
Like most people do.
IWE, if you want to be specific.
What were some of the what were some of the best things you learned while training? Like the things that like you've taken with you this whole journey, or just
Get the
each other?
fuck out of Maine.
Get out of Maine. Yes.
The only reason we're sitting here today, it's the only reason we have any bit of success is because people like an Ace Romero, like a Scotty Wild, a Johnny Torres, Shane Marble, like those guys would like tell us like, yo, you guys are pretty good. You should probably get the fuck out of here. Like don't let this be your end all be all.
Do not get stuck here.
Yeah. That's
Like,
a huge one.
And like we really, really took that to heart. Like as soon as we were, I guess deemed capable of going beyond like our home promotion, like we were on the road. Like it started with like Alexander Lee brought us to our first out-of-state company, NCW, and
even before that, we were going to Massachusetts for like seminars and stuff. So
we
knew the training that we got, like our trainer essentially gave us the ball.
It gave us the groundwork for what we would inevitably need to continue to smooth out.
But like if we had stopped there, we would be absolute dog shit. Like I'm not even kidding. Like we hit seminars like super hard for the first like 2-3 years of our career, and we would not be anything without all of that like insane knowledge that we got from like various people. Like there's so many, like, you know, like a Sammy Callahan, like a Ricochet, Lindsay Dorado, like there's been a ton. Yep.
Bob Evans,
Savio Vega.
Really
weird one. But yeah, you know, just like getting out there and like expanding our knowledge of the business and everything, like and traveling for bookings and stuff too. Like that was so fundamental for our growth as a team and as individuals. And yeah, that was a huge one.
Keep talking. I'll be right back.
I'll
tell you why later.
He's got to pee. And then when he comes back, I'm going to go pee because I kind of need to pee too. If we're sitting down here doing the stack, there's going to be a pee break or two. But
it's all good.
I figured. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like that was a huge piece of advice we got early on, because I think like a lot of those guys like kind of saw that we were very capable. We had a lot of potential. We were very serious about this, and even before like people told us like, "Yo, get out of here," like we already kind of had that mentality. Like we both, and inevitably, we want to be on TV, you know, or at least live off of this. You know, I know you can make it look at like an Effie. I'm sure Effie is doing great in the financial department, and is not, you know, binded to a contract somewhere. But you know, ultimately, like we want to make a living off this, and we want to be able to like give our families a good life, make our families proud, everyone that's ever like supported and believed in us proud. So we've always had this mentality. And coming from music, you know, we both were like in touring bands and stuff, so like we already kind of had that lifestyle kind of ingrained into us a little bit. So the transition from like playing music to like doing independent wrestling was very smooth and natural for us. So that was like something that we were already kind of like thinking about doing. And like our home company was, you know, it was cool at the time. Definitely not looking back on it, but you know, at the time, you know, like when you don't really have a leg to stand on.
When you have nothing, anything is good.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, yeah.
That
was quick.
Welcome
was
back.
it? I felt like I was taking super long.
Nah, it was quick as fuck. I was just saying, like, you know, we already had like the touring lifestyle from music and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And we both want to make a living off this.
Absolutely.
Somebody sign us. Give us a contract. I'm gonna go pee.
What he said. So yeah, if you hadn't already noticed, I'm the peer of the pair. Legit, whenever we're on the road, like if somebody has to stop and pee, like it's me. I am always the one that has to stop and pee. I'm literally the worst. I don't know. I have a small bladder. What do you want from me? I got pee. It's, you know, it's natural. But like but you know, after I go, I'm Gucci.
You both kind of mentioned that you were in music, and the music to indie wrestling pipeline, like there's so many people that seem to go through that.
It seems like a real common occurrence, right?
Yeah, it really. When I was in college, I used to like book bands to play shows and stuff, and it's so weird how often like that kind of thing comes up, where it's like people that were musicians that are now wrestling, and like just how, and because DK was mentioning how easy it is to transition from one touring life to the next. Like, yeah,
no, for real, like it's the same deal with just like different moving parts, really. Like, wow, you were way faster than I was.
Was somebody timing that in the chat?
Congratulations.
Fast as fuck, boy.
But like, yeah, no, you're doing the same thing. It's almost easier because you really only have to account for one other person's life. Like in bands, like you have to get 4 or 5 other people on the same schedule as you and able to do everything that you're doing. Practices, shows, getting everybody into one vehicle, including all of your equipment, but oh, you don't own a van, like, oh, you need to rent a U-Haul. No, you like borrow your mom's van and stuff everything in and like hope that you can borrow a drum kit. You know what I mean? Like it's so much easier to just have to worry about yourself and one other person. And like, other than merch
and a gear bag
and our gear bag too, like that's all we have to be able to fit. So now we're in the market for carpooling and whatnot, and actually being on the road with other wrestlers and like being able to accommodate them in their gear bag and like some of their merch. Like it's so much of a pivot from the stressors of being in a band. And honestly, once we realized like that was the deal, we were like, this is cool, because this is like way easier than doing bands. And we were already no strangers to being on the road for extended periods of time. So like,
like a week, here and there. And now we're just doing weekends.
For us, like going from music to wrestling was just business as usual, just different subject matter. And a subject matter that we liked significantly more.
And it was less stressful too.
Way less stressful. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that wrestling isn't stressful.
Oh, wrestling's stressful too.
I'm stressed right now.
No, we're not. We're on the stack. We're fine.
No. It's all because of you, Val. It's all because of you. I'm gonna be a ball of stress as soon as we're done with this. But right now, I'm just vibing, baby. Having fun. We have big matches this weekend. It's something to stress about.
So we will definitely get to what you guys have coming up, because I feel like you guys are everywhere all the time.
We feel like that too.
It happens.
I'm not mad at it.
It never ends. Like sometimes I sit back and I'm just like, man, I wish wrestling had like an off season or something, because I'm just fucking tired. I can barely remember what we did last weekend. We were just talking about before we came on, so I do remember. But yeah, like sometimes I'm just like, man, like if I got a little banged up, a little hurt, it wouldn't be the worst thing if I had to take a couple weeks off. You know what I mean? Like, I love wrestling. I love what we do, but the schedule is insane, especially living in Maine. We have to travel 3 hours just to get out of our state. There's nothing in the next state, New Hampshire, because they have a crazy athletic commission still. Yeah, they're dumb. Mm-hmm. So nobody runs there. So we got to go 3.5 hours just to get into Massachusetts.
And hope that our show is relatively close to that, which it never is.
It's 5.5 hours to Connecticut. It's about 8 hours to Jersey. And that's
just New England and like close tri-state area. Yeah. Like we're not even talking about like the Canada trips or the Chicago trips or the Florida trips. Woo! It's just a lot of driving to all these shows
and to do a show and turn around and come back.
It's just adding insult to injury, having to drive. But like once we're back in Maine, it's like, oh, we're back in Maine, but we still have 3 hours before we get home.
Yeah, that's a big difference. Like back when we were playing music and stuff, it's not like, oh, I'm going back to a job I don't give a shit about in a house full of roommates and my rent's like $200. Like, no, like I got like big boy rent now and like bills to pay, and like we'll get back, like we'll have like a show like this weekend is a great example.
That's gonna happen.
We are for Pro Wrestling Magic down in Jersey, so that's an 8-hour drive down. We do the show and we'll probably leave there 11 o'clock at night, 8 hours back. So I'm going to essentially get back to my house at 7 a.m. Sunday morning, and I have to be in work at 8 a.m. for a 12-hour shift. That's my life, and that's like on the regular. And that's just easier to do that and like get some sleep in the car than take that whole day off from work and miss out on that money and stuff and all that good stuff.
So it'd be nice, but can't do it. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. You got to be on the grind, but you also got to be on the grind,
Because I'm always booked up. I have no PPL. Like I have like 5 hours. As soon as I get it, I spend it. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it works in my job. So like it's a lot, and it gets a little monotonous sometimes, but
gotta keep pushing.
Gotta keep pushing.
So I'm gonna go for each of you, and I'm gonna start with Negro this time. Who has had the most influence on you both in and out of the ring?
Most influence?
Yeah.
It's a pretty good question too. It's good.
Thanks.
I mean, if we're thinking
in and out of the ring, like
if we're thinking like, you know, in the ring, like if you want to consider people as like mentors and whatnot.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, a whole lot, but
we're gonna miss people.
We're going to miss people. But I would say like a few constants. One being Ace Romero. Like he was just one of the first guys that really gave us the lowdown on like what we should be doing if we want to make it anywhere in this business.
I actually name dropped him while you were in the bathroom.
Did you really?
Yeah.
He's gonna love it.
Him, Wild, and Torres, and Marvel all telling us the fuck out of it.
Oh no, I was here for that.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. No, totally good. But yeah, no, he'll pop each front. But
JT,
yeah, no, Ace. JT was literally my second.
Yeah.
JT was literally gonna be my second.
One of the bigger ones.
Yeah. JT has been a huge influence on both of us. I want to say we wrestled him. What was the show?
It was Limitless Wrestling's
was it Brisket for the Biscuit?
Brisket for the Biscuit. So
yes.
That show was kind of crazy the way it came about, because I don't know if you're familiar with Let's Wrestle. Let's Wrestle is like the little sister company of Limitless, essentially, and it's coming back right now after 2 years. We haven't had a show since right before quarantine hit back in March of 2020. But before we kind of had it established up here in Northern Maine, there is a company that Randy Carver, the owner of Limitless, kind of, essentially kind of came in and started helping. He actually ended up just taking it over, and he kind of dubbed it, Let's Wrestle. And these shows, they were already happening in South Portland, Maine. They were in the back of a restaurant, like near the walk-in freezer. I don't know what it is with the back of restaurants, but like the back, like you had to walk past like the kitchen and everything to get to this area. The room was like,
and the floor was slanted. The floor was slanted, but they didn't even prop up the ring to make it even. The ring was slanted too.
It just was like that. So we had like 2 shows there under the Let's Wrestle banner. And then one of the other local companies, like, we're jealous, and like I called the fire department and whatever, and it came and shut them down for coding. All right. And on that show was like 10 or 11 days, like it was supposed to be 10 or 11 days after they were like, yo, you can't run shows here, this is not up to code in the slightest, which it wasn't. And he had just booked Dijak and someone who shall not be named. So it was kind of a big match. They speaking out, we're not going to talk about them because there's no need for that. But Dijak. So this is the level of match that we're at. And Randy didn't want to cancel out on these guys. So it was like, well, fuck, what are we gonna do? And in 10 or 11 days, he was like, fuck it, we're gonna do Limitless in Southern Maine for the first time. This had only been done in Northern Maine, Limitless. And we're gonna do it. And he got the Westbrook Armory, and Brisket for the Biscuit was the first show there. You go back and watch, it was like 150 people or so, and like every show
it looked very, very
it looked weird.
It was abysmal.
Yeah. But 150 people still impressive for 10 days notice. He completely reworked the card, made it a Limitless show, and it was stellar. And then every time after that at the Armory, we pretty much sold out like 600 people. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely the start of something crazy. We wrestled JT Dunn and Mike Gross on that show, and we were shitting our pants going into that match.
So nervous. Like we just knew, like we knew who JT was and like where he'd been, and we personally didn't feel we were on that level yet where we could wrestle somebody like JT Dunn. And it was just one of those things, like baptism by fire, and like it ended up working out, and like he gave us a ton of useful like feedback that things that we still take seriously today. And he's just been one of those constants all throughout this 7 years of doing it.
Yeah.
And like, he's always been there to tell us, what we're doing wrong, what we could be doing better, like what works best. Like, just a really, really part of our come up. Honestly.
And what we're doing right too.
Yeah, absolutely.
That match was really the first one. It was like, that was our first test in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time that like we really got thrown into something where it's like
if we're gonna do this, like, this is who we need to be wrestling and know that we can go with in order to be able to go farther.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, he sat down like probably 30-45 minutes after that match and just talked.
Absolutely didn't need to
like,
do
all
that.
good stuff.
And just like wanted to rap with us and freaking go over what we needed to do, what we could have done better, and like how to work on it.
Yeah.
Like, what more could you ask from somebody that has the wrestling tenure that JT does, and like their willingness to just sit and like basically give you a little mini seminar after your match. It means a lot, and it means a lot every time anybody's willing to do that.
Yeah.
Like, and we take it to heart, for real.
That's like Death by Elbow, like him teaming with Chris Hero, JT Dunn era. You know what I mean? Like, he did not need to do that, and he did, and he's always done that every time we've worked him. I love JT. I absolutely love JT.
Me too.
It's still on you. Influences. Any others that you want to throw out?
I mean, there's plenty, but I feel like we've been talking for a lot now. Outside the ring, Jesus.
Any non-wrestling?
I don't know.
I got a non-wrestling one. I'll say Laura Jane Grace, the front woman of Against Me. That's a good one. I read her book, Trainee. Great book, incredible. I highly recommend it if you're into reading, especially autobiographies.
Mm-hmm.
Go check it out. It's incredible. That's definitely a big one. Do you have another one? In-ring, out-ring?
I'm so bad with being on the spot and like answering things. You know what?
Talk to me. Hardy Boys, my biggest ones. Like, that was the reason I got into wrestling. Jeff Hardy's my favorite. I think they are a big reason why I like tag team wrestling so much. The matches that they have with the Dudleys and Edge and Christian and all them. That's so funny. Was it just popped up?
Nope.
That's funny. Sorry, something just popped in my phone. That's just funny.
You're fine.
I'm not gonna talk about it.
I didn't get it.
It's okay. I'll go back.
It's not even a group chat. Whatever, man.
I think it was something to the Let's Wrestle page. I got admin privileges on that.
I have admin
people trying to get
too.
booked that probably aren't going to get booked. Ooh. The shade. Anyways,
I didn't see it, so I don't know anything about the shade.
Man, dude, there's so many influences. Like, it's insane. It really is. Like, tag teams, especially where we are one. Like, just all the ones before us. Butcher and the Blade, EYFBO or Proud and Powerful, whatever you want to call them. Young Bucks, obviously, like, just so many. Like, we look up to tag teams. Like, we really like,
big time.
And we always have a special bond with tag teams too because of that. Like, we love all the new kids on the come up right now. Like Brick City Boys. They have tremendous potential. I'm pretty sure they're still
they're still in the
Gauntlet Boys right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I've just heard of them.
They're them boys right now.
In uncharted territory beyond wrestling. Waves and Curls.
I love Waves and Curls.
I think Waves and Curls.
Who doesn't love Waves and Curls though? For real. Like, any opportunity we get to just be in the same locker room with them, we vibe. That's just it. What's up.
Both main events. We're closer to the New York-based Circus-y main event. Obviously, we've wrestled them multiple times. We haven't wrestled the other main event. We've met them. We need to and want to wrestle them. But the New York-based main event, we are very close with. Main event and Waves and Curls. I would be shocked if one of those two teams isn't like on TV within the next 2 years.
Yeah.
They have very good stuff going. They've come from very good places. Like, we love them immensely. We got mad love for, Insanely Rude, Amazing Graysons, you know what I mean? All these teams. Like, if you're a team, like, we like you automatically pretty much right out of the gate. Like, you got to one up with us. We take tag team wrestling to heart. It's very near and dear to us, obviously, because honestly, trying to make it as a tag team out here is kind of hard sometimes.
It sucks sometimes. It really does. Yeah. Just trying to get out there and get around. It's really hard to get in people's ears sometimes. It's really easy to oversaturate yourself in your area too. So we've made it a goal to just try to be as stretched out as we possibly can. Whether that means sleeping in the car for a few hours just to get a nap in while we're on a 20-hour trip. It's what you got to do. What you got to do. You want to get out there, you got to get out there. You got to go get it. That's what you got to do.
So I guess I'm going to ask you this as a tag team. What has been the greatest obstacle that you've overcome in wrestling?
That's a crazy question. I don't even fucking know where to begin with that.
I mean,
you ask great questions.
Yeah, no, these are you're so proud of this.
You should be proud.
No, you know what? I think one of the biggest obstacles was figuring out who we were.
I mean, yeah, honestly, like
I agree. Let's be real. Like, we spent 5 years as plaid wearing, buoy swinging, flag twirling. What?
Kind of like lumberjacks.
But we never chopped wood. He carried an axe.
No, I do chop wood. I like chopping wood.
I like chopping wood. I'm not saying we've never chopped wood. We've chopped wood. We chopped the wood.
But
we didn't like. When were we chopping wood when we were wearing plaid? Listen.
We got the Main State Posse name. We kind of inherited it. We went, we just kind of like got the plaid and everything and the buoys, and that was all like, by following Alexander Lee to like NCW, like we talked about earlier and stuff.
Yeah, one of the first companies that we went to outside of Maine was NCW in Norwood, Massachusetts, and at the time, Alexander Lee had been there in previous years with another tag team partner, and they went by the Main State Posse. So fast forward to a few years later, he wanted to go back to NCW, and we were the only ones that he really saw that had ambitions to travel, and asked us if we wanted to go and be a part of his little group, Main State Posse. And we just wanted to be on the road wrestling. We just wanted to wrestle, so obviously we were into it.
Yeah.
And that just kind of blossomed into, I guess, what it became, the plaid vests and the Main State pride and all that.
Yeah.
And we just tried to elaborate on it as much as we possibly could. And like, I don't know, I guess it character wise, it wasn't really hitting like we would have wanted it to.
I mean, we had some pretty good, like,
like
dicks and stuff, but like overall, like we did that, 4 or 5 years, and probably like 4 actually.
And we were still struggling. Like we would still be talking back and forth all week. Like, so what the fuck are we? Like, what are we doing? Like, we have the moves, like we have the energy, like we know what we are capable of, but we just don't know how to neatly package it and present it. So there was a lot of times of just being at the drawing board and really not knowing what to put down. Like we just felt like we had writer's block for so long.
Yeah.
Like I would say probably about 3 years in, we had an understanding of like, okay, we're having issues really kind of like stretching our legs. And we spent another 2+ years really trying to figure that out. And honestly, like coming out had a really big, like it had a lot to do with what MSP, the vibe, kind of turned into. Because
gimmick change.
You can
call it what it is.
You can. It was definitely a gimmick change.
Right in the middle of the pandemic, you know what I mean? Like I guess we're still in the middle of it, but like, you know, right at the height of like quarantine lockdown, like no shows were going on. There was like studio tapings, if anything, left and right. And like it seemed like just the perfect time because we knew that something needed to change. And then, you know, we both came out. You came out like a month or two before me. I came out during Pride Month of 2020. Oh no, 2021.
It was 2021.
The timeline is fucked. It was this year.
You took fucking longer than a month.
Yeah, I guess it was. I don't know.
We came out to each other well before we came out, you know. So we both know this, and I came out, and then for me it was just like, when's he gonna do it? When's he gonna do it? Like, just fucking.
Well,
do
mine
it.
was more loaded. So
Absolutely.
That was
a lot more to unpack for you.
Yeah,
I understand that.
And like, but that was another thing about like the lumberjack stuff. Like, if you go back and look, like right before like pandemic hit, like we posted a picture the other day on our team account on Twitter. Like if you go back and look at pictures of us, like I had like a crazy beard, and like that was a depression beard. Like it fit the lumberjack look, and that's pretty much why I was growing it. But also it was like just depressed, and like I felt this pressure to like, you know, have this aesthetic and look that wasn't very true to me. Mm-hmm. You know, I on a professional, personal life, everything, you know, like something I just did not identify with. And I think that was also part of something that like went into us feeling that like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's like we weren't identifying with ourselves as much, like, you know, not entirely. And like, so that made it so that fans couldn't identify with us either. And that's a disconnect that you just cannot have with something that we're doing. You know, we're public figures, you know, that we're in this business where we're putting a lot of ourselves. It's not just us in the ring doing moves, it's all putting a lot of ourselves out there. Mm-hmm. And what we were doing before just was not true to us. And you know, it works.
We could fake it.
It works for
we,
a bit.
We faked it very well.
We absolutely did.
Like it just was not us in any sense of the word. Like, but you know, you have to go through those growing pains to get to where you're going. But at the, you know, it was rough. We didn't realize it was rough until, you know, we're, you know, sitting here looking back on it. Like it's not like we didn't have fun and enjoy ourselves. Like there was plenty of like high points, plenty of them, great matches, like great experiences, great people. But you know, you gotta start somewhere, and you gotta go through this shit just, you know, figure it all out. We still don't have anything figured out. We don't know what we're doing.
So you guys kind of touched on it, so I figure now's as good a time as any to talk about it. You guys are both, I feel like you're both pansexual, is that accurate? And then DK, you're also gender fluid. Correct? Brilliant. Awesome. I'm also openly pansexual, so hell yeah. But I know that there's been, especially, and it seems really through the pandemic almost, but maybe it's just because I've been paying more attention to it. I don't know. But it seems like there's been a lot of people like really opening up and embracing like their more like true self and being open about it. And you kind of touched on it a little bit as far as like how that helped change your gimmick from main lumberjack guys to like what you are now, which seems, just from this little bit of time speaking with you, seems way more true to who you guys are. But how was coming out? Was there any like major wrestling issues, or was it just like we're out and here it is and move on? Like, how was that experience for y'all?
I mean, I think for, I don't know, maybe it was a little easier for me because I don't know. I guess just my personality and who I am. I've always been a very go with the flow guy, and I always knew that about myself, you know. And like, I guess it's just something that I never explicitly like, you know, black and white, like, you know, this is what it is, you know. And you know, it got to that point where, you know, I felt like I was putting on a mask for a lot of people, and you know, in and outside of wrestling. And you know, I was at the point where I didn't feel like I could be you know, fully happy with how I was living my life unless I was just honest and open with everybody about, you know, everything. And I think after doing that, it made it, everything just came a lot easier, just because I didn't have to add that filter of, you know, oh, I'm around this person or I'm around that person. Like, you know, it's, I know it sounds cliche, but it's just like that weight off your shoulders. And, you know, just, I'm way happier where we are now.
And I mean, like, I would say there's still like those moments too. You know, I think any queer person can identify with, you know, like there's certain situations and certain times you'll be around certain people where it's like you kind of mask your queerness a little bit. But the wrestling community is just, I mean,
it's so easy. It's so easy, and I love it. Like, I literally wish I could just be around my wrestling friends all the time. I wish real life wasn't as much of a factor, but I mean, real life is just as important as the wrestling life, you know. And you gotta have both, and you gotta find the balance.
Absolutely.
But
I mean,
God
like, honestly,
the wrestling fam,
arms wide open.
Absolutely.
You know, and you know, I saw how it went for him because he did it first, obviously. You know, I saw how it went for him, and I was like, oh, that's, you know, about expected and everything. But you know, within yourself, there's still like a lot of that self doubt. And again, mine was a little more loaded, and I was very worried about not being taken seriously. I was worried about just everything, you know what I mean? And like, I don't know, I was just very like nervous about how it was going to go over. But I hit a absolute breaking point, and the last couple months before I came out was rough. And I just, you know, Pride Month hit this year, and I was like, you know, this is really feels like the time to do it. I feel like if I don't do it, if I keep waiting, I'm just doing myself and everybody around me a disservice. And I was just like, I gotta fucking do this. I just did it, and it's the best decision I've ever made in my life, hands down. And I've had pretty much zero like negativity in any sense when it happened and until now. Like, it's been nothing but amazingness. We have people reach out to us by messages over social media. We have people come up to us at the merch table at all of our shows. Pretty much every show, we have somebody come up to us and talk to us about, you know, our real life in that sense, you know, coming out and being queer and being, you know, performers and everything. And it's incredible. It really is. It's very humbling. And it's also very validating. It's like, okay, because me personally, like, I still have like moments where I'm like, because I'm gender fluid, so like, you know, I would be, you know, locking myself in my room, you know, wearing dresses and putting on makeup, and, you know, trying to put on makeup and everything, and like hiding myself from the world. I went from that to being like, wow, you know, I really told everybody about that. You know, like the one thing I tried to hide from everybody, you know what I mean? And like mask, and like nobody could ever know, you know what I mean? Like, I went from that to just being like, hey, listen to my deepest, darkest secret, everybody. I like shouted it from a rooftop, you know what I mean? So like, you know, yeah, it went from one extreme to another. And sometimes I'm still like, wow. Especially right when I did it, I'm like, wow, I did that. But you know, the people that come to me and like tell us their stories and everything, like, that is like, wow, okay, you know, besides my own happiness and the positivity that's brought to my life, those moments and stories and connections with people, like, that is really validating and shows me that I made the right choice. And I'm sure you feel the same way. Like,
yo, facts. Like, honestly, I don't even know if we'd be where we were if it wasn't for the wrestling community. Like,
oh, absolutely not. I never would have came out.
No,
never.
100%.
If I'd stayed playing music or done anything else, like, it probably never would have happened. I'd still be in the closet.
Like, it wasn't. It almost felt like it wasn't hard to come out, like, at least to the people in the wrestling community, because, you know, we always knew that they would accept us no matter what. Like,
because we're all gay.
I know.
all of us.
Yeah,
you watch
wrestling
is
gay,
baby. Come on, sorry,
listen,
gay.
Listen. but I almost feel like
break it to you.
through coming out in the wrestling community, it made it easier to come out to everybody in my personal life, in my real life, and like I don't know, like it seems so much more intimidating and before we.
You know what it is? It's because now you have an entire community that would go bat for you at any moment regarding the subject. And like
it's true.
Probably not something we had before.
Honestly, it was knowing you had other people in your corner when you felt alone. Like before we were surrounded by so many like-minded people and so many good fucking people that I actually had the courage to do the damn thing. I'm happy I did. I already thank wrestling and love wrestling for so many things, but I wouldn't. If it wasn't for wrestling, I probably wouldn't have ever come out. But that's dealing with what ifs, possibilities. But we here, baby. We're living the life. We here.
Like, it's kind of cool to hear you guys say that. Because my coming out thing was a little bit the same. I was open to all of my people like that I'm friends with now, but like my family back home and stuff, like they didn't. I'm sure they probably knew, but like they didn't really know. And so I think it was 2 or 3 years ago on like coming out day, I decided on my way to work, I was like, I need to be like, I can't hold this onto myself anymore. Like I just have to be free of this. So on my way home from work, I called my 3 siblings and I called my mom and dad and I told them. And then I just was like, Facebook and Twitter, and here it is, and done with it. And just rip the Band-Aid off.
I have a similar scenario. Like it was just like I'm pretty sure I messaged him like right before, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like I can't think about it too much because I'm gonna overthink it and then I'm not gonna do it. So I'm just gonna fucking do it. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yep, that was mine. I think
it was like, I'm proud of you. That was it. Like I don't less thought went into the actual coming out than I had ever anticipated. I thought it was going to be this big thing and this long fucking post, and I like at the end of the day I was like, if I keep thinking about this, I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to find the right words, and I just have to. And I'm glad I did.
Mine was the exact opposite. I had almost done it a couple times, like months and months before I actually did. I had multiple drafts. I probably still have those notes in my phone. Multiple long ass fucking drafts because I cannot do anything small. I don't understand what that is. So I was well prepared, and I had a lot going on with mine. A lot to tell the world, but yeah, I pretty much had a day where I was just like, it was the first day of June this month, Pride Month, and I was just like, it's now or never, because like the probably like the Pride Month, like within the first like 2 years before I actually did it, like I knew I kind of like that was kind of when it seemed like appropriate to do it, and I like kind of was like those years I was like, man, I really want to do this, and then like probably 3 years, like every passing year would be like, but then finally, like this year, it was just like, fuck it, let's go. You know what I mean? And it was a lot more dramatic than that, but and a lot more emotional, but that's pretty much how it went. So yeah.
It's funny. I feel like we really complement each other with your pre-planning, your need to think things through, where I need to. I'm super spontaneous, and if I think of something, I have to do it right now. Like, no, if you look at our conversations with each other, I'm constantly just like pitching him an idea, and I'm like, this is great, a great idea, and he's one that kind of has to pull me back, because like I'll just think of something and it's just involuntary word vomit into our chat, and and
that's after I respond 8 hours later.
He's also incredibly terrible at respond. Like, I'll have an idea for something, or like I'll want to post something, and I'll like send him a screenshot of the post, and I'll be like, is this good? And I'm just sitting there waiting for him to respond, and he just doesn't. So then I'll just post it. I'll say, never mind, posted it, too late. And that is our relationship. It's just me waiting for a response right now, and then it just doesn't happen, and I do it anyway, and then he'll respond and be like, cool.
I don't think there's really ever been any time where I've been like, oh, you shouldn't have fucking done that. No, it's
no, never. Like it's always cool. But
you just also second guess yourself a lot.
I second guess myself a whole lot.
I mean, I do too, but you absolutely like, for as spontaneous as you are, that's a bad things that go together, quite frankly. But you know,
I spontaneously think things, and then I spontaneously overthink things, like things that really don't, you know.
See, I take time. I take my sweet ass time when I overthink everything. That's the difference. And that's why
I'll think it's something random and then get stressed out about it, and it hasn't even happened, and we don't even know if it's gonna happen. Like that's just me.
It's true.
That's just me. Absolutely. I will invent problems in my head just so that I have something to worry about today, apparently.
It's like my brain needs the stress, even though I know I don't want the stress. But it's like I gotta be stressed out about something. So I'll work myself up so much over something that hasn't even happened, probably won't happen, but you know.
But I want to be prepared for it if it does, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's all the bad things that can happen, and how can I mitigate all of these? Thank you.
You understand.
You get me.
I was like, oh, that's so me. So what would you say has been your greatest achievement in wrestling so far? And that can be anything from like one of the multiple titles that you've won, or like a specific really good match that you've had, or if it is just like changing up the gimmick to being more true to yourselves.
Canada was a big one.
Yeah,
I really felt good about going international, just because it was one of those things where, you know, getting your passport isn't just like, hey, I want my passport. Okay, cool. Boom, passport. Like, it don't work like that. Like, it takes money, it takes time, it takes making appointments to get your picture done, and like this, that, and the other, filling out a lot of stuff.
Not to mention actually getting booked in.
And then actually, yeah, of course, getting booked there. Like
having the reason to go.
We had, you know, a handful of people ask us if we had our passports, and at the time we didn't. And you know, it was like, oh well, you know, we could probably get you booked up there if you guys ever got your passports. So that kind of, you know, progressed into us actually putting the wheels in motion to getting our passports, and we pretty much started the process around the same time, probably within just weeks of each other.
Yep.
And like it was probably like a good 2-3 months, like start to finish, like getting everything figured out.
We had like kind of those ins, but like still, if we hadn't put in all the work that we had done up until that point, like, you know, I know for a fact that we got booked at C4 because the promoter C4 watched Limitless and was impressed with what we were doing there. You know what I mean? So like we had to do stuff to like, you know, get on the radar, you know what I mean? Even if we had people vouching for us, like I can tell you right now, you know, somebody vouching for you, that's not automatically going to get
it. Doesn't mean as much as you think it does.
If we got in, and vice versa too, us vouching for other people, if it worked like that, we'd be fucking everywhere, you know, because we're pretty tight with a lot of people.
Like, you know, but it's just, you know.
Everybody on the indies would have appeared Limitless Wrestling by now if that were the case. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty much it. Like, that does not work like that. Like, you really, like, your track record, your work has to speak for itself and everything. You know, so that was huge, you know. Me personally, I don't think I can really, that's a huge question, Val. I don't know what you've done, but like, I don't think I can pinpoint one thing with the crazy questions, Val. You're nuts. I can't pinpoint one thing.
No, for real. Every question that you've asked, I don't think anybody else has really asked us those, like, because I don't feel at any point in this whole sit down, the stack, that we have gone like along, like had the same conversation that we're used to having in these interviews. and it's just been such a breath of fresh air. Thank you.
But
thank you guys. You flatter me.
Honestly, like I feel like every little thing that we've done, and because like I'm the fucking worst. Like I know you have it too, but I'm the fucking worst. And like, you know, we know what our end goals are theoretically, like in a perfect world. Like, you know, we want to live off this. We would love to be on TV. We'd love to put ink on paper if the deal is right in the right place. You know, but like sometimes we just, you know, we'd be doing these 8-hour drives to Jersey and back, hitting these same companies in Massachusetts. And like, you know, sometimes it's like I get in my own head, especially at this point in the game, you know, coming up on 7 years. I'm just like, oh, what the fuck are we doing wrong? What the fuck can we be doing better? Why the fuck do we suck? You know what I mean? Like, and that's just me being insane and extreme and hard on ourselves. Like, but you know, it do be like that sometimes, you know, because we do these shows, you know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. And then, you know, come Sunday or Monday, I go back to my regular job and I'm a regular human being again. And doing flip-flopping like that, you know what I mean? Every single weekend, that fucks with you. That will absolutely fuck with you as a human being.
Ask any wrestler.
No, seriously. That's real. And if you can get a grip on that as a wrestler, props to you, because it is absolutely hard for me to do. It sucks. It fucks with you very much so mentally. So like doing that, it's crazy. And sometimes I'm just like, why the fuck aren't we further? Why the fuck aren't we in more places? Why the fuck aren't we, you know, doing bigger things? And like, I just put that pressure on ourselves, and like, especially me. And like, I feel like every little thing is just added up to where we are now. So I cannot really pinpoint one thing specifically that's like, wow, this has been like our greatest accomplishment. Like all the titles we won, because, you know, winning a title in wrestling, that's a promoter being like, yo, I trust you guys. Every title we've won, every banger of a fucking match that we've had, every shirt sold at the merch table, every new town and new company hit, ranking number 50 on the PWI tag team list this year, ranking 35 and 34 on the QWI this year. All of those things add up to where we are right now and wherever we're going. And I have no idea where we're going or what we're doing, but I know where I want to go. I don't know if that's going to end up being where we go, but we're doing something. We're on a path right now. We're on a journey. And all of these little things over the years, over the last almost 7 years, have made this. You know, we wouldn't be here right now on the stack with Val Pancakes if we hadn't done all the stuff that we've done up until this point. You know what I mean? And whatever we do next weekend and the weekend after that, and wherever we inevitably end up, it would not be like that if it weren't for everything we've done until now. So I really cannot pinpoint one thing. Like, everything is so important. And sometimes I get super fucking jaded, and it's easy to like get lost in the sauce and like be like, oh, I you know, all these little things don't matter. But when we really take a step back and look at everything, it all means everything. It all means so much. And like, I really like, I'm at a point, especially this week with the rankings, because all those are super recent. I feel rejuvenated, and I really take all the little things to heart. And sometimes we need a little bit of a refresher with that, like to take the little things for heart, not take everything for granted and stuff, you know, because what we do right now is an absolute privilege.
I mean, it lets us know that like, even if we're just, you know, even if we're not doing the right things, you know we're doing things.
Doing something.
You know, we're doing something. Like, and at the end of the day, I guess that's what truly matters. You know, we have our goals and all that, but you know, at least we're doing something. At least, you know, if there's anything that we could ever do to like give back to pro wrestling, like, you know, it's just keep doing the thing. Just like keep doing it. Like, there's no where's anybody that's ever quit gotten? You know what I mean? Like,
facts.
Just gotta keep doing it.
Keep moving forward. Like, fair enough. So, just kind of a few road related questions. What do you guys listen to when you're on the road? You're talking about all your long drives. Like, what are you listening to?
Oh God, okay. Let me be first because I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this. I'll be back, Val. We're gonna get into this.
Hell yeah.
I'll start off slow so you can get the bulk of it. So like if you talk to anybody that's like ever like been with us on a road trip or whatever, key people to go to would be like Jessica Wrestlebrook on Twitter. You might know her. She's a photographer. Alec Price, like an Ace Romero, but really anybody that's ever like driven with us. So we both used to play music together. We talked about that, punk, hardcore, metal, stuff like that. So like we have a lot of like the same like musical interests too. And it's like, some melodic but like some screaming stuff, and not everybody's cup of tea, but like we know like all the same songs, and like we've been riding together for fucking 7 years. So like when I plug in my phone, it's usually like my giant playlist, so it's like the same stuff always coming up. And like when he plays stuff, it's usually like the same stuff. And we might have already known the same songs and everything, and I've wanted to hit the songs that he really likes from bands that I'm kind of familiar with, and vice versa. So like the stuff we listen to is not everybody's cup of tea, but we love to crank the shit out of it, like fucking blast it and just sing our fucking stupid little hearts out. Just absolute, like, just being as loud as humanly possible.
Using our little hearts out, I just automatically know.
I feel so bad for people in the back seat. Definitely like Vanna would be a huge one, a Boston-based band, RIP. But now they have a band called In Spirit from the original members. They have some bangers, but oh my god, there's so many. But like when there's a song, Jodos is a big one.
I like Jodos.
Yes.
Have you ever seen them?
Couple times, yeah.
Nice work.
That's awesome.
I think I saw him for the first time in 2005 in like a Knights of Columbus Hall.
I love you so much. You're great. I don't think I've ever seen Jodos.
I've seen them once.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer now that I realize that I've never seen them. But
Craig.
Bone House Ballet is like one of my top 5 albums of all time, by far, for sure.
We have emo nights here, and Craig was one of the like guest hosts for our emo night.
Yo.
And so
that's so cool.
That's sick. That
he
really
came up to me and my friend, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Craig," and we're both like, "No shit."
That's awesome. Yeah, like honestly, it's like we pretty much have like those songs that like we both are like super into, and like when we're in like your car, we have like satellite radio, so like you'll play like I
just play the hip hop station all the time.
But like so we venture over there too. But like when we're really jamming, like we usually have my playlist on, like Lions and stuff, and
Our
just
Last
like
Night.
and like just really stuff from that time when we were both playing music that we like, and we both just belt it. We just let it all hang out.
Everybody in the car just looks at us weird.
And if you're in the backseat trying to have a conversation, forget about it. Like you're not having one because the fucking stereo is cranked all the way up, and we are fucking screaming at them. Not screaming. We don't scream. We don't have that capability anymore. We're old men, but
I can still scream.
But singing at the top of our lungs, and it's just usually a fun time. And that usually happens at least once a road trip. Not constantly. It's not constant like that, but
I'll tell you what, when we're with Ace though, Ace be singing Disney songs.
Yeah, he do.
And like we're all about that too.
Mostly when I'm driving, I feel like when I'm driving, that's when we like really like sing, because like when my playlist goes on.
Yo, I hope Ace watches this. Ace's ringtone is "You're Welcome" from Moana.
True.
That's straight up. He put that song on one time, and like we were all singing it and everything. And then we got to the show, and his phone just starts going, "What can I say except you're welcome?" And I'm like, "Is that your fucking ringtone?" He goes, "Yeah." And I have no issue. I take zero issue with that. It's a fantastic song.
My turn.
But hey, if he ever sees it, he's gonna get all mad that I told everybody that his ringtone is Moana.
I'm gonna make a point.
Pretend this is DK.
I'm gonna make a point to clip that part out of this and put it on Twitter.
Do it. I want him to see it.
I'll make sure to tag him in it. I'll tag you guys in it. It'll make the rounds, maybe. I don't know.
He'll be like, yeah, Moana's shit. All fairness, it's a great movie.
It truly is. I thoroughly enjoy it on multiple levels.
Yeah, I get down with Disney big, so like I ain't gonna say nothing bad about no Disney. Come on, let's go.
My Spotify Wrapped was like all Disney songs this time. I got into like a vibe with like an 8-song playlist that I listened to at work, and it's just like the theme song to like Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, and like 4 songs from a Goofy movie.
You piece
It just keeps me motivated.
No, that's good.
I'll fuck around.
You
try to get back to the stack.
Yeah, no, it's the stack. Can't miss it.
So, what would you say? And each of you can answer this, and we're gonna start with DangerKid this time. What would you say is the most surprising song on your playlist?
Oh.
Like, if you want to call it a guilty pleasure, you can do that. I don't like to call it a guilty pleasure because I don't feel guilty for anything I listen to. But
absolutely, I agree with that sentiment. So I could go a lot of different directions with that. Nothing should surprise you on my playlist, but I will. Okay, so we just had Spotify Wrapped, obviously, just dropped like a week ago. My number 1 played song this year was technically a country song, which is weird because that's not something I listen to. I don't know if you could call it fully a country song, but it kind of goes in that territory. But my top song was I couldn't remember the name of the track for a second. I had to like kind of sing it in my head. But my number 1 played song on Spotify this year was "Moving Parts" by Trixie Mattel. Bam. And that is not the majority of like what I listen. I don't normally listen to like a ton of music like that, but Trixie Mattel has my heart, and that's one of the best songs like ever, in my opinion. Absolutely in love with that song. But that genre, like kind of like acoustic, kind of folky, kind of country, slower type of song, like that's not the majority of what you're gonna find on my playlist at all. So like that, but that was my number 1 this year. And I absolutely love that song. And every time it comes on, it's not getting skipped. I'm sorry. It's just not. And I will sing that in the car. And I'll be the only one. I promise.
Fair enough. So, Mr. Negro.
So I do not I'm not a Spotify guy. So whatever.
Pandora.
Sit and twist.
Who the fuck are
Listen,
you?
I don't even Pandora. Don't throw fucking bears at me. I don't Pandora. Okay.
You do.
Listen. I have a lot of Alexas in my house. So I subscribe to Amazon Music Unlimited. So I can listen to whatever I want to listen to as well. So I'm not one of the many fortunate that just get to know everything that I listen to over the year. So, but I do have a song because while you were talking, I was like, well, I know that I've been listening to stuff. And my guilty pleasure, my one song, my guilty pleasure.
No, we're not calling it a guilty pleasure.
It's not a guilty pleasure. Okay.
Yeah, you said it.
Shut up.
We're not using that.
This is what I've been listening.
Me and Val know what's going on. Okay.
I'm not guilty for anything that I listen to.
No, the song is called "River" by Bishop Briggs. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Bishop Briggs.
Who the fuck is that?
Don't worry about it. It's a fantastic song.
I'm sure.
But Bishop Briggs is a fantastic artist as well. You should look her up. She's wonderful.
I probably will.
It's absolutely nothing that we typically listen to, especially on the road.
Yeah, I really don't think I've heard the song.
No, so. I feel like we vibe with it.
So you're not showing your true self on the road with me.
Not always.
How many times have you heard that Trixie Mattel song?
Fucking enough.
I've never even heard of it.
I just never think of it. Like these are things like when we're talking playlists, I have a whole vault of things that I like to listen to. but I never think of the things that just come on randomly. You know what I'm saying? Like I put on playlists. Amazon, I put on the playlist. I just say, play this genre, and they play me all my favorite songs from that genre.
Yeah, I just throw on a playlist too, but my playlist is a clusterfuck of genres. So
no, I get that, but I just bounce around. I bounce around, and I just listen to whatever comes up. I don't subscribe to the idea of just like only things that I know that I like. So I want to play these specific things. I just give me the genre and let me find things and discover things that I may not have discovered prior.
See, Spotify will put a playlist for you together, like put a playlist together for you of like new artists or things like based on stuff that you already like. So it helps you discover music in that way.
Yeah, Release Radar. I love listening to that every week. Discovery Weekly. So like Discovery Weekly like will remind me of stuff I listened to in high school, and I'll be like, oh shit, I haven't listened to the song in like fucking 10 years on the playlist. Boom.
See, this is why I need it. Truly, the reason that I need it so much is it keeps me young. I'm technically the old guy at this tag team, and I am just like I'm not up to snuff all the time, and like he keeps me updated.
See, I have multiple playlists for multiple purposes, but my go-to playlist is called like it's my top jams playlist, where it just has all of the songs that I like, regardless of genre, and I just throw that bitch on shuffle and see what happens. And so maybe I have like Mbop by Hanson followed by something by The Sleeping. Like I don't know, like it doesn't matter. And then next is a Disney song, and then next is something from the 60s. I have no idea what's coming next, and I prefer it that way.
I feel it. Word. Okay. Yeah. I will let DK like fill me. I mean, I'm open to it. I'm okay. Like I'm into it. I just pay for Amazon, so I feel like I should use it. I know like I don't have Spotify Premium, that's for sure. But like he'll get me on the grind. Don't worry.
Trying.
So do you guys listen to any podcasts, or are you strictly music guys?
No, definitely not. I listen to podcasts most days.
Just
honestly.
Not really on the road.
Like, yeah, it's not on the road thing. It's, I don't know, something about podcasts makes the road very mundane, and I don't know. I feel like podcasts create a certain atmosphere where the expectation is to listen, and a lot of times, like when you're on the road, especially at nighttime when it's late and you're just trying to get from point A to point B, like you need things to stimulate and keep you awake. So
podcast is not
we typically stray away from podcasts, not because we don't want to listen to them, but just because you don't want to set that tone for the drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel that. I listen to podcasts when I work, but not really at any other point. So
I was at work today. I listened to a ton of them. Like I don't really listen to a whole lot of wrestling podcasts these days. Like I talked earlier about like what Cole Cabana's podcasts are wrestling like did for me at that point in my life. But you know, like I'll shout out like Grit and Glitter, good people over there. But you know, I don't really listen to a lot of wrestling podcasts right now. I'm listening to like a lot of baseball podcasts because I don't really like sports, but like baseball is like my one. Super into that, and like it's the off season, so like I'm trying to get my fix in some way. I've just started listening to I can't remember what it's actually called, but it's the founder of Warped Tour, Kevin Lyman. He has a podcast where he talks about all like the inside stuff of like setting up that tour early on, and like that tour like really was like fundamental in like my upcoming just as a human being. So like that's been a pretty interesting one. You have all kinds of weird ones that you go to.
I like knowing what's going on in the world. So like I listen to like it's called The Daily Zeitgeist, and that just it's just kind of the what's going on in the US consciousness. Like they used to say the global consciousness, but like it's really more or less like what's going on here. I like true crime stuff, a lot of true crime stuff. Any true crime or like ghost story stuff, like, you know, paranormal encounters, what have you. Like, Sword and Scale is a big true crime one that I love listening to. There's a lot. I the names are escaping me right now, but like I'm constantly telling him about like, hey, have you heard this one? Have you heard this one?
And I haven't.
He never has. He's never heard any of them. But
my partner listens to one called Time Suck with Dan Cummins. That one's really interesting. I like that. Small Town Murder, and That's Why We Drink. A couple other ones that like I've kind of listened to through my partner and whatnot. But yeah, no, podcasts are really cool. Just not on the road.
Yep.
That's fair. Thank you for shouting out Grit and Glitter. That is the other podcast that I work with. Many thanks. And I also listen to a lot of like spooky podcasts. There's one I like called Unexplained Mysteries, from a company called Parcast that I just like binged like 2 weeks ago at work. I just like binged it all and I was like, this is the best thing ever.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Right? So I totally get spooky podcasts. When you're on the
phone, like,
yeah, you can just see.
I was just gonna like throw you a few of the podcasts I used to do, but please continue.
Oh no, if you have podcast recommendations, by all means.
Same.
I mean, of course, you know, you could always listen to the Limitless Wrestling podcast. I mean,
what are we doing? Yeah, okay, if we're gonna talk any other wrestling podcast, Limitless Wrestling podcast, what are we doing? I used to be really like, I was kind of like a co-host on there. Really going, but
for a minute.
Yeah, he hasn't had me on in a good while. So
yeah, it's been a minute
now. What the fuck are you doing?
But you know, like just some simple stuff, informative stuff. Like I just love learning about any random thing you can possibly think about. So a great one is Stuff You Should Know. That's Josh Clark and Charles Bryant, the hosts, and they literally just pick a subject and elaborate on it. Like, I've learned about so many random things like that I just didn't know about. Like, I wasn't super informed on the Trail of Tears. Turns out there was a whole crazy thing, you know. But like, it goes from like stuff like that to, you know, just how does gum work? You know, it's all just stuff you should know. Like something you would never think to learn, and you know, they just tell you about that.
I love the fucking like the way you just sit it out there. Like it kind of like in layman's terms was just like Trail of Tears. That was some shit, huh? Wow, that happened.
Like the Spanish Inquisition. That was some shit. You feel me?
That went down.
I never really would have known about this stuff, and I couldn't just be so flippant about it and be like, "Yeah, man, they lived through some crazy shit." Like, but I would have never known. I would have never known.
Now you know.
Deep, but that's
the podcast.
That's the value in these informative podcasts. Like, listen,
I love it. I'm just sitting back.
Listen,
like,
you are, like, that happened. You know, like, why do lefties exist? You like that, lefty?
Sorry.
You like that, lefty? Anything. Check out Stuff You Should Know podcast. Like, I'm not just trying to like put over other podcasts on this, but like, it's good stuff. I also listen to Spooked. That's like one of my favorite paranormal encounter podcasts. Like,
I also listen to You're Wrong About, which is very informative. It takes something and then tells you why something like why your understanding of it is wrong. Like they've talked about like Monica Lewinsky and like just all kinds of different like pop culture things and like all the misconceptions that you have around it, and like to kind of set the record straight. That one's really interesting. I also listen to Reply All. That one's pretty fun and informative. And 99% Invisible is another one I really like.
What was that
Those
first one called? That one
sounds
super interesting.
You're Wrong About?
You're Wrong About. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like I love the sound of that.
I thoroughly enjoy it. I think the hosts are really entertaining and it's very well researched. So
that helps too. Honestly, like sometimes like you know, because like I think we've all been there before. Like you just get to a point where like you're caught up on your normal listening podcasts and whatnot, and then you're like kind of like looking for something,
scouring, trying to just find something that catches your eye,
typing stuff in, you're just giving stuff a shot, and there's nothing worse than like
a bland or boring or shitty or whatever it may be, an unappealing podcast host or hosts. I've heard groups of 2 or 3, and it's like, wow, all these people sound like they suck a lot, and I don't really want to listen to them anymore. But you know what I mean? Like a good host really makes or breaks a podcast.
Absolutely.
I really hope people don't think about that when they listen to me.
No, they would never. They couldn't.
Val.
Oh, you guys
Be
are
so
so sweet.
self-deprecating. You're wonderful.
Guys. So while you're on the road, I'm a big snack person. I'm a self-professed snackosaurus rex. So what are your go-to road snacks?
I love that question. That's such a good question.
Are we gonna keep circling back to how awesome Val's questions are?
Yeah, we are.
Now I feel like a broken record because they're just all so good.
No one ever asked. I'd love to talk about my road snacks with you.
Thank
Are you kidding me?
Thank you.
Okay, I love crunchy things. Big, if I'm going salty or anything of that savory variety, I guess. Bugles are dope. Love the little cone tips, because what's the best part of a drumstick ice cream? That little tip bit, you know what I mean? So bugles are great. Little cone ditties. Love that. Corn nuts, ranch corn nuts, severely underrated. If you've never tried corn nuts, get yourself some corn nuts.
If you
I'm
have
a barbecue
soft
corn
teeth,
nut kind of gal.
corn nuts.
Yeah.
Definitely chip the tooth on a corn nut. Feel
Is
you.
the worst.
Oh.
It's the worst. They taste great, but if you can chew it,
I want to crunch it so bad. I want to crunch all the shit. Oh fuck! I just had one I was gonna say. Where did it go? Oh, basically sunflower seeds or pumpkin seeds or anything like that.
I was eating your pumpkin seeds at class tonight.
I love pumpkin seeds.
You left pumpkin seeds in my car,
Oh,
and I've just been pecking away at them for a month. They're wonderful.
good for you. You're welcome. What are the Muddy Buddies? If I'm feeling something sweet, Muddy Buddies are fucking great. And then I'm very known to just grab a fucking chocolate bar on the way home because it's 2 a.m. and quite frankly I deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a Kit Kat. Kit Kat's my favorite for sure.
Yeah,
but
I fuck with Reese's. I like milkshakes a lot. If we're ever just getting some, I don't know what it is about on the way home though, because I always feel like I want a milkshake on the way home. I'll never want a milkshake on the way out. Full transparency. When we're heading out on the road for a show, 9 times out of 10 I'm wildly stressing and nervous about the show already. So I am really bad about eating or putting anything in my body.
We're getting better.
We're getting better. We're getting significantly better.
We used to seriously go to a show and neither one of us would eat all day until we wrestle at 9 o'clock at night, and then after we're driving home, it's just wow, we're starving. And we stop somewhere and absolutely gorge ourselves at a gas station.
Now we actually make a point to go and get lunch on our way to the show. We eat now.
Make a point to have a light lunch.
Yeah, no, you got to. So Subway's a big common one though. We eat a lot of Subway when we're on the road. We're just trying to not eat shitty food. I'm not saying Subway is an incredible food, but it's something that isn't greasy and super high in sodium, whatever. But
with that being said, when you get out from a show, that's another thing about being on the road too. It's you get out of a show, sometimes it's what's open. I'm sure you guys experience that as fans, leaving the show, because some of these shows are getting done at 11 o'clock at night.
We eat a lot of gas station hot dogs too, and I'm that dude that's damn, that hot dog is black. I'm still eating it. I will eat a 3 to 4 hour old hot dog happily. I will stick that in a bun and I will eat the shit out of that hot dog because I'm hungry. But no, don't laugh.
No, it's true. I've seen it so many times.
Real. This is real right now. I'm that dude.
See,
it's funny.
I'd be it's all him. I'm that's when I'm eating corn nuts for dinner. You know what I mean?
I'm dude, there's 3 perfectly good 3-hour-old hot dogs on this grill right here, on this rolly doodad that they got at this gas station. Like,
It's all you.
hey man, like I'm about it. Them onions over in the little island that probably been there since like the morning before. I'm all about that. Them dry ass onions. I love them dry ass onions.
Amen.
It don't take a lot to deter me when it comes to like if we can find somewhere that has any like of hot food, warm food, I don't care. Like I'm eating it.
Yep. Screw the diet at that point.
I'll eat an egg roll that's hard as a rock because it's hot.
If we were smart,
at that point, you're hunter gatherers and whatever's there.
Yeah, exactly. We would take what we can get because I mean, there's just been so many times where we've left the show and it's like there isn't anything open. You know, I mean, you're lucky if you get that 6-hour-old hot dog still on the roller. You're lucky if you get that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like when we see something, we take it. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll have some McDonald's here and there. That's kind of a fucking commodity at this point. Like we got to catch a midnight McDonald's run. Not the best, but you know, it's a lot better.
Nuggies, so we get them nuggies.
Yeah, we get some nuggies.
I think we had nuggies like 2-3 times like last weekend we were out.
Yeah. He shared.
I did share.
A good friend. He always shares.
What's your go-to nugget sauce?
Or
are you guys not saucers?
Yeah, no. Like I used to be an anti-saucer. Mostly just because I don't like change and I just like things like I love vanilla ice cream, and that may sound weird because it's not, you know, they ain't nothing. It's vanilla. But see, that's what I'm saying. That's why we're a good team. We're just too vanilla.
Are we too vanilla?
Like,
I don't think you guys are too vanilla.
Throughout my life, I was willing to expand. You know, so I'm like I moved on to strawberry. Still not huge on chocolate. I can do it, but.
You're weird. You don't like maple syrup on things.
Fuck maple syrup on things. That's weird. Were you one of them kids?
Right?
Were you one of them kids in like school lunch where you would like dip your applesauce, dip your nuggies in the applesauce?
Dip what?
No. What?
Oh
no,
no!
Not crazy.
No, I'm not. No, listen. I'm not putting that to the universe so you can like try it. Don't do it. Like it's. There used to be mad people at school lunch that were like you would get them little things of applesauce with your poor kids hot lunch. And like you would get your little 4 nuggies.
Hot lunch.
Well, yeah, I'm telling you, 4 kids hot lunch. 4 kids hot lunch was just you got that little plastic tray, and you was
I'm trying to get to the matter.
Okay, listen.
Who the fuck is different nuggies and fucking applesauce?
You would get little things of applesauce.
You go somewhere private school?
No, I went to fucking public school, dude. You would have your nuggets, and you would get a little thing of applesauce with. I don't know why they associated applesauce with Nuggie Day, but they did. And kids were dipping their nuggies in this like mashed, nasty applesauce.
Okay.
And eating it.
That's fucked up. I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. Here, I'm gonna literally one up this weird ass phenomenon you just brought into this conversation. I'm gonna one up you. Okay. I'm gonna set the scene here. Fucking 4th grade. We are in this little like rundown, not great facility of a school. It literally closed down at the end of this year. We got this kid in our school. He is like from Canada, like adopted. He was super off the wall, like weird kid, but not like an outcast weird kid, kind of like I was. Like he was like, people liked him, but they didn't really know why they liked him, you know, whatever. So like he moves in like middle of the year, you know what I mean? You know how that goes. Kind of fits in good, but again, he's fucking weird, a little off the wall. All's fucking fine and dandy with this kid until we get to the first day of lunch with him at the school where it is pizza day. Okay? And I'm not talking, I don't know why the school is like this because everything else about the school sucked. I'm not talking little square pizzas. I'm talking about like a full slice of pizza. Like full size, everything. This was good for 4th graders at the time. This was great. Only thing this school was doing right. This kid would, I swear to God, he would take the cheese up at the tip of the start, you know, your first bite of the pizza. And he would take the cheese and he would pull it back. You know what I mean? Almost like it was skin or something. I don't know, something fucking weird. He would pull it back up about 3/4 of the way. And then he would take a mayonnaise packet from a la carte and fucking squirt
the whole mayonnaise packet underneath the cheese and above the red sauce, the marinara, and then he'd put the cheese back down like he's doing fucking surgery.
Get out.
And I would watch him do this for the next 2 years. Into 5th grade, I swear to God, every pizza day he did this. I swear to fucking God. You cannot make this up. This is not fictional. And he'd put it down and he would just eat it just like that. I swear to fucking God.
I thought it was weird that people here dip their pizza in ranch, but that's almost weirder.
I would do that, but I don't think that's as weird.
Oh, that's
fucking weird.
Pizza and ranch is fantastic. They go together. I'm just saying. I'm a big proprietor of pizza and ranch. Okay, so that's just fine.
Okay, I mean, you do you.
We can circle back to this now. My sauce of choice. I have been fucking with the ranch with the nuggies lately, and this is something that's only been recent. Like I would go with the sweet. I can do the sweet and sour, but I was just a no sauce guy initially, and then I started exploring the sauces, and I've kind of landed on ranch, and that's kind of what I'm happy with. It's good.
I fuck with ranch too, and the moral of the story is we love a good segue. That's it.
Ranch isn't a natural flavor.
We love it. It is.
I just gotta throw that in there. Like, ranch is not a natural flavor. Like, who invented ranch? I know somebody did, and I could Google it. It's worth a Google, but like, I don't know I don't know who invented ranch. But it is not a natural flavor. But I do want to fuck with ranch. That's fair. I don't fuck with blue cheese. Like, you fuck with blue cheese?
No. I don't really like condiments for the most part, with the exception of like barbecue sauce.
Okay, that's fair.
Barbecue sauce.
I'll fuck with barbecue sauce too. That's up there for me. Because I don't like ketchup or mustard or anything like that.
I don't either.
All that shit.
Nope.
That's right.
Okay. Here's the big question. You fuck with pickles? You like pickles?
No.
I knew I fucking liked you. I knew I liked you for like a really good reason. And that's it. I mean, you ask great questions. You're super chill and nice. Love your Twitter. But that's it. We're bonded. And he's judging you right now.
That's okay. I judge him for ranch. Fine.
Listen. This kid cannot. He can't do vinegar. So I think I
can't either. Makes my stomach churn just smelling it.
Thank you. That's not weird.
It's weird.
It's not weird. There's people.
This kid will smell me eating a pickle and he'll want to throw up. He's like,
yeah.
Like, where's the problem?
Listen. Like, dude, I'm like geeking just thinking about what that smells like right now. Like, that's how bad
it is. Oh, it just makes your stomach
it
just gives you instant stomach ache.
The pickle gang, I need you to pull up right now. Pull up for me, pickle gang. Show that pickle love. Show that vinegar love. It's not just about pickles. It's about vinegar as a whole. Whatever else vinegar goes into. I don't know what it is.
The garbage? I don't know. Nothing.
Vinaigrette. I'm sure that's great. Balsamic vinaigrette. That's a great salad dressing.
No, don't fuck with that.
Nope. No, sir.
Whatever, man.
No, ma'am.
Whatever, man.
No, ma'am.
I ain't even about it right now. I ain't trying to argue about pickles.
This comes up every other week, pretty much.
I mean, you can have all the pickles I'm not gonna eat.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I will eat all your pickles.
Okay, I'm gonna take a moment here. You've given me a platform, and I want to talk about something that's very near and dear to my heart. How come we got whenever I go into a fucking deli and I get any type of fucking sandwich, it does not matter what it is. I get it, and I'm just like, cool. I'm stoked about the sandwich. Maybe the side, maybe the fry that comes with it. I don't know, or maybe if I'm getting a burger or something at a restaurant. How come these motherfuckers got to be back there in that kitchen? And they're like, oh, look at this amazing burger. Oh, we got some sick fries. Oh, whatever dipping sauce he ordered. Let's throw a fucking pickle on the plate. Why the fuck do we got to do that?
It affects everything on the plate.
It ruins
it. You immediately have to evacuate the pickle.
It's like, if it's touching some fries, it's like, okay.
Those fries are dead to me.
Yep, they're fucking gone. It's like, here, you want to take the pickle and like the 4 fries that are making a wall next to it? The worst is when the pickle is touching either the burger or the sandwich or the wrap or whatever I've ordered. I will
that part of the bun is gone.
Strangle somebody. Like, why'd you gotta do that? I'm legitimately heated right now.
You have not gotten angry about anything during this entire sit down, and like, you are like Terrence. You are like the pickle like antagonist right now. Like, you are not trying to.
Why do they gotta do
why the war on pickles?
Because they're
like,
fucking
you need to
disgusting.
chill out. Like,
but like that
phenomenon, getting a damn pickle with your meal, you set the pickle aside.
But then you get it. But if I'm not with someone like you, then I'm just like, okay, it's just touching my
and
food.
I feel bad wasting it.
Yes, and like if it's touching my food, I got a problem with it. And most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's touching my damn food. I want to know what fucking person decided that was just gonna be a normal thing in society that we do. I don't know, some motherfucker. I don't know who,
somebody,
but like
somebody that is a pickle connoisseur, somebody that appreciates pickles.
No.
So today. I order all of every sandwich I get. I almost 9 times out of 10 will order it plain. Like, please, and I even specifically state, like, I just want like whatever the meat or hamburger or whatever it is and bun. Like, I don't want anything else. Like, don't give me anything else. And like, I will send it back, not every time if it's wrong. I have no problems doing that. But I have a very important question.
Do it.
How do you feel about gravy?
I love
gravy.
I love
I hate gravy.
Oh,
you guys lost me.
Okay. Well, I mean, like, okay, so you won't do like a poutine?
No, it's thick meat. It's thick meat juice, and it feels gross in my mouth.
It kind of is, but it's kind of amazing.
I love thick meat juice.
Okay, so now we're back. And now
but I don't like soup either.
You don't do soup?
Oh, wow.
I have to fish around in meat juice to find a part of something I want to eat. It seems like it's way too much work.
No, it's
just
for not a lot of payoff.
That's where you're coming from, but wow.
I know.
Soup.
Yeah.
It's just in general, you're just like soup's off the table.
Yeah, no, I can't. There's no soup that I ever want to eat.
I'm not hating on you, but like that's a new thing for me. I never heard that. Somebody don't fuck with soup.
I'm a very picky eater.
That's
I am gathering this information. Fun fact, I made my first chili at work yesterday. It was incredible. And it was not for me. I work in a group home. So I work with like adults that have mental and physical disabilities. So like the meal's not for me. I get to eat it, but it's not my meal. It's not my ingredients. But I'm doing the shit, but like I get to eat it, but it's not for me. I put beans in it. I normally don't like beans. I ate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I am growing as a person. I ate that shit. You've seen me struggle with beans.
Yeah,
I don't really fuck with beans, but I put kidney beans in this shit, and you know what? I ate it. I'm grown.
You liked it.
I'm grown.
It's important to grow as a person.
I swear to fucking God.
Okay.
Sorry.
I get it. You don't like pickles.
I fucking hate them. I swear to
God. So like moving on.
Yeah, we just talked about food forever. I'm so sorry.
I'm not mad. Hello, look at me. Do I look like I could not talk about food forever?
That got
Let's be
intense.
real.
I feel like that was the most intense part of this whole show. Like
the pickle rant.
I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I've been holding that in for a while.
I'm glad you were able to get that out here on the stack.
Thank you for giving me the platform to do so. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. So, what is your favorite move to give, and what is your favorite move to take? And we'll start with, I think we'll start with DK this time.
Favorite move to give.
That was your favorite. I'm curious. This is another really good question. What the fuck? You're killing it. You are killing it. No, seriously, that's such a good question. I've never been asked that before. I already know the answer. I got it. Do you need a minute?
No, I don't.
What is
it? I mean, I like one of our newer moves.
Do a singles and a tag move. Is that okay?
Yeah,
singles Okay, very different.
I love cutters because they're fun, but I don't really do them. I'll just like throw it out there if it's just, I don't mean necessarily a throwaway match, but like a match where like I'm doing more single stuff. Like I love throwing a cutter in there. I love our new move, the vibe check, because it's a mixture of a rock bottom and a backstabber. And I just really fuck with the rock and love doing rock bottoms. So Like, you know, every once in a while when we're feeling froggy, we'll throw some stuff in a match where we just do old Attitude Era finishing moves and
hit a couple stunners in my time.
9 times out of 10, I'm doing rock bottoms.
It is always followed up with me getting in the person's face and just going, you know, it's
so yeah. But as far as taking, I enjoy a good DDT. Anything that I can, you know, get put on my head.
Said taking?
Yeah, she said taking too.
Oh, I didn't even hear that. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
What do you love giving and what do you love taking?
I didn't even hear the taking part.
Yeah, no, taking I would absolutely say is like a good solid DDT.
Yeah.
You know, I really feel like it looks like I die when I take one.
Good spike bump. Yeah. Just right on the top of the
right on the noodle.
No, it always looks good if it's good. You know, it's one of those things that just it kind of enhances the match. You know what I mean? Like I really love selling.
Absolutely.
That's
I mean,
like
it's just as much as giving the move. You know, taking the moves is just as much as it is.
I kind of hate giving moves. I kind of like. I do like them, but like I'm like that's just opportunity for me to hurt somebody potentially. Like I've never. I think I've like kind of messed somebody up once. Like I got an enziguri, like I kicked him in the head like 4 years ago, and he kind of had a blackout moment, which you know feel really bad about. But like I don't have
wrestling. It happens,
of course.
You know,
but I don't have like a tracker. Neither one of us do of like hurting people. But you know, doing moves like that's how you hurt people. You know, potentially. So I mean, I don't even really like giving moves. I love to take moves. Like fucking kill me. You know what I mean? Like let me just make you look so good. Like I love to take a pile driver. But yeah, anything right on my head. I've taken some stupid bumps.
Right on my head.
Yeah, you know, like fucking murder me. You know, let's go. But yeah, singles. I really like my Busaki knee, the Dan O'Brien.
Brian Danielson. See, Daniel Bryan.
I talk too fast and I fucking like just
Daniel Bryanson.
Brownson. New Browson.
You want to know something funny?
Who the fuck I'm talking
so
about.
he loves doing the Busaki knee. This was just as the pandemic was like setting in. We had one more show on the road before everything like shut down, and we were staying at a hotel. And this kid, you cannot take him anywhere for starters because all he does is jump on the damn beds. He does every fucking wrestling fucking move and flip you can imagine on the beds, messes up all the covers, and you can't take him anywhere.
Fuck me.
Anyway, he just got the Bryan Danielson friggin' Busaki knee in his head, and he literally did this for like a couple hours until he was like, I got it. All in the hotel. Like, we're just sitting there and trying to kick back, have a beer after the show. And
we had a beer.
This kid is just keeps running and jumping on the bed. Bang, bang, bang. He's like, I think I got it. Dude, I knew you had it 45 minutes ago. Now you're just doing it to do it. But that was like the birth of him doing this knee very frequently now. And
almost every match.
Pretty much every match he does that knee.
I've really grown fond of the airplane spin.
And that's very recent.
And the mule kick. So like when I'm just on my back and I just like do like a double like up kick, you know, that's fun.
We're literally just talking about all the things that we just like do right now.
I'm very into striking and stuff. I don't
really you think we have like a locked in move set? Like we don't.
It's
like
pretty irritating, especially
as a tag team. It's way easier because at least we know the things that we do together. But when it comes to like our individual stuff, we're just like, oh yeah, I did this like 4 years ago. Like, let's do that. Cool. Yeah, I might do this or that, but yeah, no. When we're apart, we don't really. It's not like we couldn't thrive. We just work so much better together. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah. And the majority of our matches are tag matches.
Yeah.
But, so. You know. But our finish is fun for me. The drip drop. So he does like the backstabber,
and he goes to the top and does a senton off it.
It's always fun because like they're not far out, so I kind of like go up and straight down. So I got like a crazy arc on it. So it's kind of a fun move for me to do because I'm literally just kind of like woo, and I'm just throwing my shit into the air and kind of just blindly coming down on motherfuckers and killing them. And it's not. You know, it's
then
like,
we'll have those matches and be like, oh well, it doesn't fit if we do it, but it does fit if I do the backstabber and you do the senton. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. He's like, why not? I was like, because I don't want to jump off the top. It is high up there. Don't let anybody ever tell you that the top rope isn't high. It's high. And he's like, well, I do it all the time. Why can't you do it? And I'm like, because I don't want to do it because it's scary up there. And he still makes me do it. So I've done it like I've done it like
times.
I've done it like 5.
Like 6. No.
Yes.
No.
Okay. I've at least done it 4 times.
I can think of 2.
Okay. I've done it with you once in Jersey. I've done it with
what match?
Lee.
Tell me. I know that's the one
in Brooklyn.
You did it recently.
Yeah.
I can't. What's the one in Jersey you're thinking of? Because I do not know what you're talking about.
I don't know.
Exactly. You don't know.
We're in Jersey. I can't tell you exactly when Jersey I did it, but I know that I did.
Bullshit.
I've done. Okay. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, I've done it 3 times. I hated it every time. It's not fun. It's not hard. Like, once I get up there, I'm like, okay, I can do this. Well, I don't have any choice anyway. I already agreed to it.
It's hard. It's all body control.
But
it's a weird angle
like,
to hit.
you know, I just don't like doing the things that, like, you do. Because you're a danger kid for a reason. You do dangerous shit. I don't do dangerous shit.
I mean,
I set you up for the dangerous shit. That's how that goes.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you guys have any pre-match rituals?
I used to.
Used to throw up.
I used to throw up before every match. Like, my nerves got the best of me for like 4.5 years. And like, I could not cope. And like, it just culminated to me purging. Like,
oh,
I no, see, like, for real. And I've only recently been telling people about that because, like, I guess now that it's not a thing, like, it's something that I, you know, things that were embarrassing or, you know, whatever in your past, you know, it's once it's not really an issue for you anymore, it's easier to talk about because it's fun. It's funny to laugh about. Yeah. And no, that was something that I always, like, I'm super, like, in my head a lot. I think both of us are. And we would stress about a lot of unnecessary stuff, like pre-match, and like my anxiety would get the best of me and I would just have to go throw up. Like, it got to the point where I was like, all right, well, you know the deal. I'll be back in a few minutes. And like, yeah.
I would know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nobody else would.
He would know. We would be like discussing a match and I would just have to disappear for like 5 minutes. And you know, it's just one of the nature of the beast kind of things. And you know, you got to do what you got to do to get through what's ahead of you. And it's I think it's something that my comfortability, like, in the ring has really, you know, helped. You know, it's just going out there and just being having that self-confidence and knowing that you know what you're doing. And I think everybody has different ways of dealing with it, and that's how I dealt with it. Was it healthy? Probably not. It probably didn't help that we never ate before matches either. Like, I used to have such a fear of, like, oh my God, I'm gonna like throw up in the middle of my match. Like, if I don't do it before my match, I'm gonna throw up in the middle of my match, and then
Never happens.
What's that gonna look like?
No,
and it never happened. But I always had such bad anxiety about it that I felt that needed to happen. Like, it went from being like so overwhelmed that, like, oh my God, I'm gonna puke, to like, I need to make sure that I puke before we go out and do this match, you know? And
pretty fucked up in hindsight.
Yeah, no, looking back on it, it's like, it's crazy, but you know, that's just another growing pain that I personally had to work through to, you know, just be able to perform.
Yeah,
it is what it is. You know, we all go through shit.
I don't know if you can call it so much like a ritual. I guess it is a ritual because I do it every time. I said do. But
I need to walk away, because I mean, when you're going into a match on a show, you spend a lot of time, especially on a tag team. So it's like me, him, and the other 2 people that were working, or 4 people that were working if it's like a multi-team match or whatever it is. You spend a lot of time like figuring out how this match is going to go, how it's going to be structured, what are we going to do, what are we not going to do. I need to walk away from everybody, and I need to go be by myself for a little bit. I need 0 distractions. I usually will go outside of the venue and take a little walk, and I literally just need to clear my mind of all outside influences. I need to think about how this match is going to go. I need to kind of play it out in my head. Just all that stuff. I just literally need to take a few moments just with myself. I need to just get away from everything, the chaos of the locker room, the chaos of the show. I need to walk away from it for a few minutes. If I don't do that, I am kind of stressing a little bit usually. I've found out, but most of the time I usually get a couple minutes, 10 minutes just to go do something like that. And then I'll come back, talk it over with him and the other teams or whatever, and I'm good to go. So
if you want, if we're on the subject of a healthy coping mechanism for pre-match, I usually do 25 to 50 push-ups, and then I stress until he comes back from his walk.
I guess I didn't know that.
Borderline panic while he's on his walk. I'm literally just waiting for him to come back so I can go over things.
I didn't know you were waiting for it.
So I can go over things with him, because I know that he has to. I know that he has to walk away and just kind of let everything like digest for him. And so I'm just waiting for him to tell me all the things that I need to be doing so I feel more secure with myself.
I'm a little more of like the ring general in the ring. Like, I know what I need to do and what he needs to do and what the other team needs to do. I gotta know what everybody's doing, even if it doesn't involve me. Like, I need to know. I don't know. I'm a fucking.
And I'm more like, don't tell me anything unless I have something to do with it, because that's too much input and it will get lost in the shuffle. I can't do it. So
I can see both ways, so I can understand where you.
But it's good balance.
See, that's why we work so well together, is because we have that balance.
So if you could either go back in time and wrestle yourself as your first match, like go from today back in time, or you could go from today and wrestle yourself 5 years into the future, which would you pick and why?
Oh, Jesus.
What the fuck, Val?
You know what? Don't say the
blow.
questions again. Don't say anything about the questions again. We already know they're good. We know they're good. We can't keep revisiting how good the questions are.
I can't help it.
Okay, Val, the questions are great. I would absolutely wrestle a younger me, because
Really?
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
I get extremely.
I'm obviously the other.
I get extremely anxious and stressed out when I'm forced to step outside my comfort zone. It's one of those things. I understand that, like, in order to improve and get better, you need to step out of your comfort zone. I'm just I'm of the mindset like, oh, I don't want to step out of my comfort zone, but I know I need to, and I appreciate that you are making me step out of my comfort zone, but I don't want to do it. So I think I'm better with guiding and helping other people step out of their comfort zones, as opposed to me because when I'm outside of my comfort zone, that's when I become very unsure of myself. And if I'm unsure of myself, then I don't feel like I can perform at my best. So I think it would be a good learning experience for a younger me to wrestle somebody that forces younger me outside of my comfort zone, because I feel the earlier that I step out of my comfort zone, the better I would have been as a result in the future. But if I wrestle myself in the future, then I'll obviously know that, like, my future self is going to know way more than I am and force me out of my comfort zone because they know it's beneficial. But at the same time, I guess it works both ways, really.
Let me fire a quick question at you, because I would pick the opposite. I would want to wrestle us 5 years from right now. I would love that, and I'll get to that. But with you picking that, I find that super interesting. Do you think that outside the comfort zone would do you that good on day one first match?
Absolutely.
You that much? You think it would be that beneficial?
I mean,
in comparison to going 5 years,
7 year in aggro to year one aggro, that's incredibly beneficial.
But like we talked about that JT match earlier, and that was like our first real test. You know what I mean? But that wasn't until like we were in for like a year and a half, 2 years. Did it really grow us like that much all at once?
I don't
even that far in.
Like, I think it opened our mind to the willingness of learning more.
All right.
Like it gave us the right tools and gave us the right things to look for in progressing, you know.
So I would definitely want to go in the future, just because I would want to see how far we end up like going. I want to see how far we're going. Like what is the capable growth here? And I know, like, you know, you could say like, you know, where our potential is limitless. We could do anything we set our minds to. But in reality, I still have all that doubt all the fucking time, every week, almost every day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Will we even be wrestling in 5 years from now? I have no fucking clue. If we are wrestling 5 years from now, what does that look like? I can't even begin to fathom. I cannot begin to imagine. And like, I think we're doing pretty good right now and everything, but like, I think
I would hope we weren't doing the exact same thing now in 5 years.
I would really hope so too. And I think, like, you know, if we had the ability right now to go do that, it's like if we were blown away by 5 years ahead of us, and like, you know, say we're on TV or something, it's like, wow, okay, wow, we really do have that potential that I feel like we have. Or if we are just bumming and still doing the same thing we're doing right now 5 years down the road, it would be like, okay, let's make sure that doesn't happen and change our fucking course. You know what I mean? Everything that's happened up until this point has already happened. You know what I mean? Like, if we go back 5 years, or, you know, back to the start, you know, yeah, that would probably change some things, but how much would it change from then till right now? I think going forward, it would change a lot more of the outcome of what that's going to look like in 5 years from now. I feel if we did that. And that's my reasoning.
Yeah.
Whether you're like on TV or if you're like back at like your shindy, like
exactly the same exact shindy. It came back just so we could be there in 5 years.
That'd be awful.
It would be terrible.
That will not be the case.
I hope that never happens.
I'll quit wrestling before
we won't allow that to happen.
But
so if you had an action figure of yourself and it was one of the like speaking action figures, what would you want it to say and what accessories would it come with? And we'll start with Aiden this time.
Hey baby, that's a vibe. What else would it say?
I don't know. I have no idea. I've never had like a catchphrase or anything. What would mine say? Do you know? Can you even say anything? If you can't say anything, I'm gonna feel like a piece of shit. I can't think of anything. Oh no.
Well, you don't like.
I don't say the same thing ever.
You want something funny, like the way that I break down like our promos. Like, I am the tagline guy. I'm constantly thinking about things that people will remember. Like, I want to get the catchphrases in. I'm the catchphrase guy. He's the informative guy. He's the one that'll tell you exactly who we're wrestling and why it matters that we're wrestling them and when we're wrestling them. And he'll get all of those bullet points in. And I'm the guy that's like, yeah, baby, we're going to catch a vibe. We're going to feel the vibe, baby. You know you got to feel that vibe, because when the vibe is live, we strive. You know what? It's just all like hook words that people can attach and gravitate to. And I feel like that dynamic is another reason why we work so well together, is because we're both thinking about completely different things, but when you put them together, it creates that whole package. And oh my god, don't get so stressed out.
I don't have existential crisis over here.
No, that is not what I wanted to have happen.
You know,
I'm not quotable.
You are quotable.
I don't know if I am.
Let's get dangerous, Darkwing Duck.
I don't say that though.
Darkwing Duck did, and you used it a few times.
Oh, like 5 years ago.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is.
Oh my God, who am I? What is happening? Okay,
you're a vibe.
I love the action figure based question, but oh my God. Okay, I can tell you right now.
Hang on, let me finish because she asked me first. I gave the catchphrases. I would obviously have the shower cap. I would like an assortment of shower caps.
Yeah, the captain.
Exactly.
You get it?
That's why you need.
Did you get that before I said that?
Yeah.
Even though he was called the captain?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool.
Come on,
okay. I'm just making sure it's
been like a part of my Twitter for fucking.
I see it every day. I just gotta make sure it's sticking with the peeps that are following us.
Well, see, it means
I spend a lot of time on Twitter.
I'm doing a check.
So.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're Twitter pro. So.
I don't know about that.
No, I think the big thing would be the shower cap, and I think you know, a good secondary would probably be my jacket, my bomber jacket, which you're hearing this first here on the stack.
Exclusive.
I have a new jacket, and I will probably be wearing it this weekend.
Ooh, new jacket.
You've seen it.
I have. It's nice. It's good.
It's a vibe. It's a whole vibe. You know, it's a vibe. Love my jackets. I love my bomber jackets.
I would absolutely have my jacket on the figure. My leopard print 3/4 duster. Probably my my crop top too.
Yeah, the crop top.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, non-binary flag too. I pretty much try to come out with that almost every time. I just feel like that representation is important. It's something I'm very proud of. It's something that resonates with, and it's one of those things that resonates with even one person in the room. I'm happy with that, and at the end of the day, if nobody, I'm doing it for me. So that's become a very important part of like my entrance and everything. And then, something that's not like clothing or material, like maybe like a pearl necklace or something like that, pair of sunglasses, maybe my claws, I don't know, something like that.
Nice.
Face buns too.
Well, I mean, that's not an accessory.
It's not an accessory, but it's a hairstyle.
That's how the figure would be.
If you had that's something that you can't change in the figure. So like, if you were only to have one figure, would you want it to be your space bun hairstyle or your ponytail
space
hairstyle?
buns. Oh, at this point.
There we go.
Yeah.
See, it matters.
For sure.
Valid question.
So, what is the wrestling word that you use most outside of wrestling? And we'll start with DK this time.
Oh my God. I don't know. I feel like I almost try to subconsciously stay away from wrestling lingo, because it's it kind of becomes so cliche, being in the locker rooms and stuff.
That that nobody else outside of wrestling gets it.
Yeah, that too. I probably gimmick, honestly. Probably gimmick. Because that's one of those it can be kind of plug and play anywhere. You know what I mean? You can talk that could be a lot of different things. You know what I mean? It can be wrestling related or otherwise. Just gimmick it, or you know what I mean? The gimmick. There's so many ways you can use that. So I definitely use gimmick a lot, probably more than I should. But and honestly, overall, I try to stay away from a lot of the wrestling lingo. I probably still throw out brother way more than I should, but I mean it every time. Brother is one of those super fake kind of things that is thrown around a lot, but goddamn, do I fucking mean it. All the people we've met through wrestling, I legitimately would take bullets for, dude, for real. Not every single person by any means, but the people that I have met through wrestling that I feel very close with and have bonds with, I that's real shit, man, for real.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually say it to somebody unless I meant to.
Yeah, I gotta be.
I wouldn't say it flippantly, or disingenuously, But as far as outside wrestling, for me, what I say, babe, it's babe all the time. I legitimately use that in every possible scenario. I don't know. It just feels like it works in every scenario. And like, I almost enjoy the fact that it's not just black and white wrestling related. Like, you don't have to relate it to wrestling. It's just something that I say a lot wrestling, and it's something that translates really easy to like real world outside of wrestling. And like, you know, people can take it how they want, and that's what I enjoy saying. Like, that's what I say. It's almost like the same idea as like using like DK uses gimmick. Like it's almost like an involuntary movement or involuntary spasm. Like, I'll just say it without meaning to say it, and you know, it just flows. It's just, yeah.
I will say that when I ask that question, 9 times out of 10, the person I'm asking it to says gimmick. Gimmick is by far the most responded answer.
That makes sense. I see it.
You make sense.
What have you done?
What I missed?
So, just that gimmick is the most often answered answer to that question.
I believe that entirely.
So, what is the weirdest request you've gotten from a fan that you can like tell me about? You know what I mean?
The most what?
Like
Request?
the weirdest request you've gotten from a fan, like that you can tell me about.
Bodily fluids.
Yeah, honestly,
That's pretty weird.
Like, I mean, it's probably like the pretty standard answer for this too. I mean, like stuff like that. You know, people wanting custom matches, people wanting like our underwear and socks and stuff like that. You know,
I'm even no. You remember that fan was like, spit in my mouth.
That fucking happened. Okay, that fucking happened.
That's interesting.
Because I had Joanna fucking remind me of that at Blitzkrieg this weekend, because that's our little inside thing. So like we did.
So we have clearly talked about this with multiple people, because when it happened, we did not know how to respond to it, and we just kind of evaded the question.
So okay, we hit on this earlier, where sometimes, like, not often, I don't want to make it seem like we do this all the time, because we really have only done a handful of times over the last like 6 years, but you know, sometimes we will do like some attitude era like finishing moves, you know what I mean, like in our matches, just because like we're dumb and like to have fun. But so I remember it was one night we did that, and I did the pedigree. So I think I was the last one too. So we do it like a waterfall. So it's like he'll hit one of the team, and then they'll hit the other one, will hit him, and you know it'll go around in a circle basically. Like I was the last one.
He did the whole Triple H pedigree with like the water and the like spit in the water and all that.
I hit pedigree, boom! I'm the last one. I'm up. I'm fucking jazzed. We also had Alexander Lee at ringside, you know, managing us. It was me and him wrestling. Alexander Lee at ringside. Hit the pedigree, boom! I fucking go to the ropes. I step out. I step onto the fucking the apron. And it fucking Lee hands me a water bottle. Don't know where he got it. No idea where it came from. Didn't have it when we came out. I take a swig. I do the Triple H. You know, spitting water up into the air. It was before COVID. And I can't remember if it happened right then or if they came up to us after the match. That's a little fuzzy, but like a lady in the front row who was a pretty thirsty fan was literally asked if I would spit in her mouth, like completely serious, and I did not.
It was something to the effect of like, oh my god, when you spit that water, it got all over me. Oh, I'd like it more if you spit in my mouth. And this woman was
yikes
100% serious.
Yes,
100% serious, and like we just like did not know how to respond to that.
No, I remember now. So this fan asked me to spit in their mouth after the show, but so I did the thing on the apron, and then I remember we won the match,
And I'm going around the ring, you know, celebrating whatever. And they were front row. There was a seat open right next to them. And I sat down and I was like, yeah, we won. And I turned to her and I was like, I'm sorry if I got you wet. And she legit, like, no fucking hesitation, was like, I was already wet. And I was like, what the fuck? That's fucked up, but it's hilarious. That's funny as fuck, but no.
That's bold.
But she didn't skip a beat. I was so amazed. I was super impressed. It's still like the funniest fucking thing that has ever happened to me.
One of our most wild fan interactions, for sure.
Oh my.
Crazy.
What are you into?
Crazy.
That's bold.
Hasn't been anything crazy like that in a while. But
yeah, no, that's probably the weirdest
that happened.
Definitely.
Yeah. That is weird. I'm just like,
that's about the expected response. Yeah.
I hope that's up there in answers that you get on that question.
Yep. That was such a very good specific instance. And incident. It was just very good.
Those fans is like two like older women, and like they were at another show one time and they got incredibly drunk and they tried very hard to get us to go back to their hotel, and that obviously was not happening and didn't happen, but I was legitimately concerned about them just on their own getting back to their hotel. Like, holy shit, you are trashed. Like, you were actually very intoxicated right now. And I just remember being like, well, I don't want to go. Really make me get back okay. Like, you need a taxi or an Uber or something. Like, you know, I'm not gonna be in the Uber with you, but I'll call you one right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm worried about your safety. But yeah, no.
They posted on social media the next day, so we knew they were good.
They were good. Yeah, they're fine. They're alive.
Hell yeah.
They don't come out these days, but you know who you are.
So other than your gear and your phone, what do you not leave for a wrestling trip without? Like, what is a must take with you item? Other than, like I said, your gear, your phone, wallet, normal stuff. Anything weird?
Weird? I mean, I don't think there's really anything weird. We don't have any like big keepsakes or like
nothing off the wall.
No, I think we're pretty standard.
We're pretty standard.
I mean, we have things that have been forgotten where it's like, oh my God, we need to really make a note to never forget this again. But like, I don't think there's any like thing that we specifically like, oh no, this needs to be on the road with us.
I feel like there's a good answer for this, but it's not coming to mind right now. But no, there's nothing too crazy. I mean, like, always got our fanny packs, you know what I mean? But it's nothing like fun or anything in there. Yep, it's your time to shine. It's your time to shine. I'll try to think of an answer to this fucking question, but I really can't think of anything too nuts.
I mean, if there isn't, there isn't. We can move on.
Yeah. Like, there's your road essentials, you know. But as far as like weird or offbeat things, I cannot think of anything too nuts. I mean, like, me personally, I need like I gotta have like a hoodie or something because I'm always cold and I do very poorly with temperature. Like, if I'm too cold or too hot, like, I'm just cranky. You know what I mean? Like, I need to. I would love to remember my neck pillow all the time, but I literally always forget it, never have it. Actually, I think I need a new one. I think I lost it. Neck pillows are pretty crucial. Love to sleep in the car. It might be a taboo rule. It's against the rules of the road, whatever. Fuck that. If I'm not driving, if I'm not like co-pilot, I'm gonna sleep. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna sleep in the car. And like,
no, that's fair.
You're gonna have to deal with that. I think that's so stupid. Like, oh, you gotta stay awake. Like, why? Fucking why? If I'm not in the front seat, like keeping eyes on the road or actually driving, like, or giving directions, like, why the fuck do I need to be awake? Like, that's stupid. I don't know. It's all these stupid things that like people decided are rules that are not actually real. But yeah, like, I mean, I try to keep like a little bit of like
makeup in my bag or something. So like if I'm feeling like feminine, like on a day, like if we're gone from home multiple days, like I'll try to like, you know, have something like that so I can go to that. Like if I wake up one day, like kind of feeling that. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like nothing offbeat or anything like that, which is, I feel like it's weird for us. I feel like there normally would be something, you know, back in the day, the buoy, you know, we always had to have the buoy with us. But no, nothing too crazy, honestly. You didn't think of anything while you're peeing?
Mm-mm.
Fuck.
You guys are fine. Just have a few more questions and we'll go to questions from chat and then we'll go to the lightning round.
I forgot about the chat. Oh my God.
Right?
Let's do it. We can't see it. But like, fuck.
But there's been, I mean, I can kind of take a glance and it looks like there's been some stuff popping off. So I'm sure there are questions.
That's fun.
Right? That's the cool part about doing like a live interview is that we can get questions from chat.
Yeah,
like,
you know what? I think this might be like our first live like deal like this. I don't know if we've ever done anything.
Sure, thanks for popping our cherry.
Yeah.
Bless your heart. My pleasure. So you guys travel a lot. You have to, because where you live, you have to have at least like one super good road story where something like crazy happened or something like really funny happened. Like everyone has like at least one, like this is the go-to road story. And like you can go ahead and like if you need to like censor people's names, you can certainly do that.
Like I
don't want to like out anybody.
You want to go with like an easy one, like a recent one?
Well, okay, I know. Okay, I have two. I know the one that my mind automatically goes to that I know we absolutely do not talk about and we won't talk about, and I know which one you're thinking of as well. Absolutely not going there. And then I have the one that is somewhat recent that is pretty good and we probably should and will go to. And that would be those motherfucking black hornets. Yeah.
So okay, you know how we've been saying that like I'm the one that has to pee. Like,
we have both gotten up
on the
3
road
times in this time period.
Like
I mean, we're
clearly you know that we pee, especially me. But
he's awful though.
This okay, so this particular trip we were heading to New Jersey and he had to pee. Like could not wait, had to pee right now. He's like, you need to pull over because I gotta pee.
I was driving.
Oh really?
I was driving.
Okay.
And
he's like, I need to pull over because I gotta pee.
Had been going for a while having to go. You know what I mean?
It had probably been a few hours. Like normally I would have already had to have peed, but I was good at this point.
You were like asleep in the backseat, that's why. You know what I mean? Like you were
when I sleep I don't have to pee as much. So it helps.
So like we are about a half an hour from the venue. And I need to go. It is just I cannot physically go anymore. Like it's hurting me. I'm extremely uncomfortable. I cannot think or process anything else going on. I need to release my fluids. It needs to happen. It's got to go down. But like we are running out of time. Like we are already running a little late. We need to get there. We're going to wrestle besties in the world, which is, in my opinion, one of the best tag teams in the entire world, let alone the country. And this is a huge match for us. I don't know where we're at in the card. We need to get there. And when I'm driving like a madman anyways. Like I'm very stressed about time and getting there on time and everything like that. But I need to go. I need to do it. It needs to happen. But we do not have time to, because you pull off the highway, you hit a gas station, even if it's the first one right there, you are eating up 10, 15 minutes easy. Mm-hmm. This needs to happen quicker. I am just, and there's also no like just quick ones right there either. You know what I mean? Like we are about to hit a bridge, was it a bridge or a tunnel?
It was the Tappan Zee Bridge.
We're about to hit the Tappan Zee Bridge. So I'm just like, I can't hit this bridge. I can't. I take the exit right before the bridge. I'm like, I need to. It's middle of the day. It's like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. And I just I take off the off ramp. I don't even get all the way off the off ramp. I just pull off to the right. I'm just like, I'm going to the bushes. I'm dying inside right now. I get out of the car and I go, and he's like, might as well pee. And he follows me. We go up the hill. We get into the woods where nobody can see us. You know what I mean?
Have our pee.
We're going. We're like 4 feet from each other, you know, kind of tilted, facing opposite directions, but we're right there next to each other, and we're going, and we finish about the same time, zip up, you know, whatever, turn to start going down the hill back to the car, and all of a sudden we just fucking start getting fucking just in.
I feel this sharp pain in my arm, and like I look down and there's just this giant hornet. Like, this is not a normal hornet. This is not a normal hornet. This is like this fucking big. This is a giant ass hornet. It's not yellow and black. It's black and white.
It's like black and like mostly black.
I don't even know what this is. But the thing is, the stinger is stuck in my arm, just flopping back and forth, and I just feel this searing pain in my arm. So I just yell, bees, and I just start running, and like I have no sense of like what he is doing next to me. I look over, realize he is also running frantically, slapping all over his body. We are both getting swarmed by fucking these giant hornets, and
oh my god,
it was so bad.
We both ran back to the car so fast, and like so we had a trainee with us, one of our students, the Limitless Dojo, Dylan Nix, shout out, boom. So he had gotten out to go as well, but he went like 15 feet up into up the road and into the woods. I don't know, because he has stage fright and doesn't want to stay next to us while we all pee together.
And he screamed too, mind you. We were all screaming.
Yeah. So we're all screaming. We all get back into the car and we're like, fuck, where's that done this shit? What the fuck? And he was like, oh, I walked through a spider web. And we're like, are you fucking kidding me? We just got fucked up. And so like, you know, we're all fucked up and shit. We start driving. Now at this point, like we've switched out. I got back and first door, I got in the back seat. Now you're driving.
I'm driving now.
We pull away. We actually get back on the highway. And we're just like, what the fuck?
What just happened?
What just fucking crazy? And I'm wearing like a loose tank top, you know what I mean? Loose tank top. And I'm just like, that's fucked up. And all of a sudden I look like kind of like down my tank top. And there's fucking one inside my fucking shirt. And I'm just like,
you took one with you.
We're on the bridge now, going down the highway.
You can't pull over. There's nowhere to pull over.
What the fuck? Rolling down the window.
We roll down all the windows. We are panicking.
Next thing you know, 2 fucking hornets come out of my tank top and are in the car.
Just flying around the car.
And we're just like, what the fuck? You're driving and shit. It was literally the worst fucking experience.
Oh my god.
It was stupid.
We finally get the hornets out of the car and just driving down the road, 15 minutes away from the venue at this point. And I start getting really itchy on my back. I'm like driving and I'm like just sitting there like, what is going on? Like I cannot stop like scratching. Like my back is like really itchy, you guys. And they're like, are you allergic to hornets? I was like, I don't think so. No, like I've been stung before, and like I've never had an allergic reaction or anything. Like fast forward to about 5 minutes later, like I can feel my lips getting bigger. I can feel my face getting tight, and like my entire body starts rashing out in like hives. And this has literally never happened to me before.
And you're still driving on the bridge at this point?
We're off the bridge, but we're still on the highway. And we're like 15 minutes from the venue, about to wrestle like one of our like most anticipated matches of our careers. And I'm sitting there thinking like, we're not gonna be able to do this match because I just got swarmed by bees and now I'm having an allergic reaction. I'm gonna have to go to the fucking hospital.
So we like stopped and got you Benadryl.
Literally the route that we were on, there was a Walgreens like literally right off the road. So we stopped into the Walgreens and like I bought a thing of Benadryl. It took them immediately as once I got back in the car. I just remember we got to the venue and I am just an asshole because like
you were in a cranky mood.
I was in a mood. Like we got there, like, this is the first time we'd ever met the besties, and like we want to have like, you know, put our best foot forward, and we like walk in, and they're like, hey, nice to meet you, da 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 da, and I'm like, I just got fucking swarmed by bees, and I don't know what the fuck to do right now.
Rough first impression.
I was like, I'm sorry,
Like,
I'm really sorry, but I can't, I'm really angry right now.
it was bad. The Benadryl ended up working.
Yeah,
That's good. Holy
we
shit.
we had like a good 2-hour buffer before we actually had to wrestle.
And the second half, yeah.
Yeah, and the Benadryl actually worked.
Yeah.
And like all of my swelling went down, like all of my hives went away. Like it was one of those things, like, you know, we wrestle like in tights. If you have something going on with your body that people can physically see, they are going to see it if you are wrestling in front of them. And I was so concerned that, like, yeah, I was beat red. I was beat red, covered in a rash. It was one giant rash over my entire body from getting stung one time. I got stung one time. That one time on my arm, that was the one sting that I got. And my arm was 3 times the size of my other arm for a week straight. No. And like every time I touched it, it like jiggled in this like weird fucking jiggly way. Like it was like jello. And he got stung like 5 times.
It was 6.
6
we
times.
We counted all the stings on both of our bodies. He got
no reaction.
One. Yeah, I was fine. It hurt like shit, and it sucked a little bit, but I was fine. I didn't even take Benadryl. But I counted, like, I had some on my legs down here, all the way up, my arms. Jesus. I had 6, and they hurt so fucking bad.
I get stung like, one time and break out in rashes and swell up like a
I've been pierced. I've been tattooed. I'm a wrestler. Like, this shit hurt. I've never been stung by anything like that. This shit hurt so bad. So, like, the one fucked up thing that I want to point out about this entire crazy ass story that we just told you is the time that we took to stop at the Walgreens to get the fucking Benadryl for this guy probably would have been if I had just found a regular ass bathroom and we just avoided all that. So that's great.
It builds character, and now
we have a story for the stack.
We got a good stack story.
Yeah.
And now, aggro, you know that you're allergic to wasps or hornets.
Apparently.
What kind of, like, our trainee from the dojo that was with us, like, oh, that's crazy. I just walked in the spider web, whatever. And he's like a super like nature buff, and he got on his phone like immediately within like 3 minutes, like found out what type
we knew everything about these hornets within 10 minutes of encountering.
I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, they're like black and white hornets, like
bald-faced hornets. Bald-faced hornets.
Yeah, that's what they were. Bald-faced hornets. Never fucking seen or heard of these things before, but do not get stung by them because they fucking suck.
It's terrible.
Oh,
and they just like, I don't know, it was bad.
Oh, I'm a super weenie hut junior. I do not want to be stung by any damn thing.
No.
No. Not for Val.
It was bad.
So if you could go back in time to talk to yourself at 10 years old, what would you tell a 10-year-old version of yourself? And we'll start with Aggro this time.
Wrestle sooner. I'll just avoid all the bullshit and just wrestle sooner.
Fair enough.
Easy.
Honestly, yeah. I would probably just tell myself that it's gonna be okay and it gets better. I came from a super, like, not entirely, I don't want to make it out like it's crazier than it is, but like broken household. I came from a very abusive background and shit. I obviously had gender identity issues, like even when I was a kid, even at 10 years old, like all that shit was going on then. Like the first time I was like, you know, like suicidal in my life, I was like probably like 8 to 10, like, and that's kind of fucked up, but that's real. And you know, thinking back to how I thought about life and my existence back then at that age, like I would just tell myself that, like, you know, it gets better and like you can do whatever the fuck you want. So sorry to get super fucking casual real.
Oh, that's
that was casual real.
That's about as casually real as it gets. Like for real though.
So, I think I've seen you both occasionally in Twitter Spaces. This is kind of a question that came up through talks in Twitter Spaces. What is the biggest animal that you could take in a fight with just your hands, no weapons?
I'd fuck up a bear. I'd absolutely fuck up a bear. Probably not.
What kind of bear?
I would love to try.
So is this question on like if it like that you would win? Like there's a fight that you would win,
or a fight you would take on,
Yeah, a fight you would take on that you feel reasonably comfortable with. You at least won't die.
I just feel like I feel like a bear is like the top of the food chain in regards to like land animals, but like just to show that like I'll fuck with anyone. Like I'd fuck with an orca, like a killer whale. Just because like they're one of the most intelligent beings, like under the sea.
Okay, I was gonna say like I just got kind of creative with like something real quick on the spot. Like I would take on a shark, but under like certain conditions. Like it could be in water. Like I think that's fair because like out of water to a shark would not be fair. Yeah, that ain't nothing. But I would do a shark, but ask me in water I can stand up in. That, you know what I mean? Like I need to be like if it's just like middle of the fucking Atlantic Ocean, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah,
you know, like
there's a lot of factors that go into
I wouldn't go there. But if I could stand up, like, you know, if it's not like crazy deep, I would go there. You know what I mean? I would lose. I'd still lose. But I would take it on, like if my life depended on it. You know, if it's like fight the shark or you're gonna definitely die anyways, like I would give it a go. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, punch it in the nose, really. Like that's a thing, right?
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Boom. Just make sure you don't get eaten. Mm-hmm. Just gotta avoid the mouth. Nothing else on that body is gonna fuck you up. Just avoid the mouth.
Avoid the mouth. That's just,
avoid the mouth.
And you can hit
usually.
It's like putting like touching their nose too.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Look it up.
Probably learned that from one of your weird podcasts.
You know why I'd fight an orca? Because orcas know that. Orcas know that they can. It causes like a full body paralysis of the shark, and they become docile. And orcas know this, and that's how they basically kill sharks.
Okay,
for fun.
Science guy.
So they like boop.
Yeah, they boop
noses.
They boop the shark, and it literally what it is like it's a mixture of the nose and flipping a shark upside down, and once you do that it pretty much like puts them in this like catatonic state, and they are unable to defend themselves, and orcas exploit that and kill them for fun by doing so. But see, I want to fuck with the smart sea mammals. Because like
I'll fuck with anything.
You know, I'll fuck with. I
no
don't say I'll
limits
win.
Really here. I know it's a bear and shark.
This isn't a winning.
Let's go
Fight. Like orca will fuck me up because I want to fight them on their turf.
I'll fight a giraffe.
You know, I'll fight a giraffe.
I don't give a shit.
I'd fight a lion. Why not?
Lion? Okay, so like lions,
lion
like,
would kill
fast
you.
as fuck, boy.
Yeah.
And like they got claws and mouth. You got to avoid the claws and the mouth, and they're super quick. Like that's now you're definitely.
Yeah, it's the whole aspect of a good mauling. You know, I don't want
definitely
to maul. That would suck.
Yeah, I don't know.
But like you get a good hold on them.
Anything. Give it to us.
You know.
So how do you usually take your pancakes? And we'll start with BK this time.
Okay. I'll do a pancake, but I'm definitely more of a waffle guy.
Oh.
Offended?
A little bit.
I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't really like. I don't have any like crazy like preference though. Like, I mean, I guess if I like had a choice of like any type, like you just give me like a chocolate chip pancake, or maybe like a blueberry pancake. Definitely maple syrup. Load that shit up with maple syrup. But I'm super like textured to my food. Like I talked about like the corn nuts and the bugles and stuff earlier with snacking. Like I like a good crunch and everything. And like waffle just kind of gives me more of that. Like I don't know, like hard foods. I don't know. Yeah. So, but I mean, I'll do a pancake.
No, it's fine.
I'm going for a waffle. Val, I still love you. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I prefer an even playing field. So if I have a whether it be a short stack or tall, I like to have a nice even coat of butter on every layer, as well as a nice even coat of syrup on every layer. So like I'll start with my first one. I'll get that butter on there, and I'll just swirl it around till it's covering the entire pancake, and then I'll do the same thing with the syrup. Like if I'm at a restaurant and I'm ordering pancakes, I will literally deconstruct my stack just so I can get the appropriate amount of butter layer, and then my maple syrup layer. I will put my next pancake on, and I will lather, rinse, repeat until I am to the top of the stack. And that's kind of how I play it. I like to have the same exact taste in every bite. So I want to make sure that I'm not getting that disproportionate, there's only a little bit of syrup in this bite. Like, no, I want the exact same amount of syrup and butter in every bite, and that's how I properly can enjoy my pancakes.
Val, I'll tell you right now, he fucks with pancakes hard. And whenever we go out to eat or anything, if we're ever at a diner or a Denny's situation, like, it does not matter what he actually gets. 9 times out of 10, he's gonna look at that waitress and be like, "Is it possible for me to get one single pancake, just one?" He always just gets a single pancake on the side.
No, shout out Jody Threat. He's the one that opened my eyes to the possibility of being able to order a single pancake whenever you're going out for. No, I absolutely did not, because we were in Minnesota, and Jody asked the waitress if she could get a single pancake. And as soon as I saw that worked, I was like, bet. Now I know that I can just go anywhere and I can just give the courtesy of asking for a single pancake, and they will oblige.
But yeah, sometimes you don't want 2 or 3 pancakes.
So thank you, Jody Threat, for
one.
opening my eyes to the wonderful world of requesting a single pancake.
Just give me one waffle.
Whatever.
Just one.
I appreciate your love of pancakes. Like, that makes me so happy. Thank you.
It wasn't always like this. It took a lot to get here, but I'm glad I'm here now.
I feel like a piece of shit.
I mean,
you're not, but like, you just don't like pancakes, like waffles. Like,
I mean, I don't not like pancakes.
I just prefer waffles.
I would take a waffle.
I like waffles. I'm like, if I have to choose between the two, like, yeah, I'm talking about pancakes.
Sue me. I don't know.
So I'm gonna take you guys on like a little journey. So I just want you to like come with me on the journey, and then there'll be a question at the end of the journey. So like,
hands.
Just come with me.
I'm strapped in.
Brilliant. So you decide that you're hungry, and you go to the store, and you're like, I'm hungry for something sweet. You're kind of meandering down the aisles. You end up kind of going down the cookie aisle, and you're like, cookies are great. I love cookies. Let's go for a cookie. And you decide you want America's favorite cookie, which is indeed the Oreo. And so you go to the Oreo section, and there's just like a ton of Oreos, right? Because there's like a bazillion flavors now. And you're like, I don't want any of these like flavored Oreos. No. I want a regular like chocolate cookie, white filling center Oreo. But now like you still have options, right? Because there's not just one. You can pick either like the thins with just the tiny bit of filling, or you can get like a regular Oreo, or you can get like a double stuffed Oreo. So which Oreo are you picking?
I mean, probably double stuffed.
I mean, yeah.
The more cream in the middle, the better. That's like the best part. Am I wrong? The cookie ain't nothing to call home about. Let's be real. Let's call it what it is. It's the filling that like sells the Oreo.
I mean, proportion. If you're basing it off proportion, like, you're technically getting like in equal parts cream with the 1/2 side of cookie. So you have two halves of the cookie, and then the cream. So technically,
like a regular would be
you are getting like the perfect proportion of cream to one side.
Yeah. So it's like a cookie. Let's say the cookie is a measurement. Like a double stuff would be like 2 creams, 2 cookies, kind of, right? Like that's a safe assumption.
I mean, it's fair.
Yeah, right? Because like then like a regular would be like 1 cream, 2 cookies.
Yeah.
And then I don't even know what the fuck you call it, thin. Fuck a thin Oreo. Get that shit out of here.
Well,
I don't want anything to do with that.
No, because let's be real. No, because the cookie itself is thinner.
Okay,
as well.
so then it's still the same ratio.
So the portion is still the same. Yes.
So it's just 2 cookies, 1 cream.
Yeah.
But a double stuff is 2 cream, 2 cookie, and the more cream, the better. Give me double stuff every time.
If you're in it for the cream, you do it for the double stuff.
Why wouldn't you be in it for the cream?
Listen,
you're not in it for the cookie.
Listen, I'm not.
So Aiden, what are you picking? Because DK's already hit the double stuff. What are you gonna go with?
I have my answer set before you even finish the question. I know.
Thank you.
Listen, you don't want to set your expectations too high with the double stuff because you can't. Like I understand that the conversation is about regular ass Oreo. It's regular ass Oreo, but like when I think like any Oreos that I ever want, like what, just because listen, a regular ass Oreo is also a Halloween Oreo. It's also a Christmas Oreo because the only thing different is the color of the cream, right? So a lot of these things are not available in double stuff. So I vibe with the regular ass Oreo only on the basis that it's never failed me because any regular ass Oreo I want, it's always that standard base Oreo.
Okay. Two things. One, the question was about regular ass Oreo.
Okay, so I will just have a regular ass Oreo. I will just have a regular ass Oreo. No, we are talking about regular ass Oreos and have regular Oreos. It's regular Oreo.
Let's take all the other flavors out. They're gone.
You just want me to say double stuff.
So I do, and I'm trying to plead my case here. This is very important. Lady Gaga Oreos, gone. All the other types of Oreos, gone. I don't know what types of Oreos they have. I know there's a fuck ton, but like, let's just say
Halloween Oreos is a constant.
Oh, okay, but pretend those don't exist. We only have regular black and white, regular ass, and the only thing that we know in the Oreo world. That's it. Is your answer still regular?
I mean, yes, because I feel like because the double stuff is like a treat every once in a while, and I may not always want a double stuff.
You're fucking ignorant.
I feel like ignorant. I feel like having a thin is just like, you know, having 2 thins is like having 1 like double stuff Oreo, maybe 1 just regular Oreo. No, it's probably
no. The ratios are the same. Grow up.
Val, can we move on because we're gonna fight? We're finna fight right now, and I didn't even know we'd fight about Oreos.
Well,
I'm not changing my answer.
You are
such it's a regular ass Oreo. It's not a stupid answer. It's not a stupid answer. Like that's a logical answer because I'm really weighing out why it's beneficial to have a regular ass Oreo or a double stuffed Oreo. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have a double stuffed Oreo. I'm just saying having a regular ass Oreo, you know, sometimes I just want to be a regular ass.
You are choosing to be confrontational.
I'm not being confrontational. Okay, you know what? I had a whole fucking box, package of Halloween Oreos, which just so happened to be regular. So based off of my prior experience
with
also
Oreos
false,
too.
Recently,
not all those creams are exactly the same. Your taste buds are fucked up if you think all those are exactly the same. That's not true. That's just not. I mean, some of them, yeah, they're just different colors, but not every single different Oreo has the same exact.
Okay. Now
that's not true.
Now we're just splitting.
So I'm gonna stop you guys there. I am gonna say that we ask this question to everybody. It is the standard question that we ask towards the end of our time together. And the unofficial correct answer to this question is indeed the double stuffed Oreo.
Thank you. Do people? Okay, are we the ones that
I never said double stuffed Oreo was the wrong answer.
Like you would not give it a. I don't know.
But you picked regular Oreo.
Does anybody go quite as in depth and as heated as we just got? Okay, cool. That's.
To be fair, you're only the first tag team that I've spoken with, where I've spoken with like both of you. And I think we've only done one tag team other than you, and I didn't talk to them. So to be fair, like you need to really have 2 people to have that debate. But you guys got pretty heated about it.
Yeah.
And I hope that you still remain friends and tag team partners after this.
Oh, we do this a lot. It's okay.
Multiple things.
I saw how heated you got about pickles. I get it though.
A lot of our heated debates come around food, I guess. I don't know.
It's because food is awesome.
Amen. Yeah.
So, Christopher, questions from chat. Do we have some?
Oh yes, we have lots of questions from chat. Even after that heated debate at the end, chat was before that, I should say, was going off with lots of questions. It'll be good to get to something that's not as controversial. So
yeah,
so we're going to go back to the beginning of the conversation. You guys both kind of talked about starting out on trampolines, and our VIP Vic Sage wanted to know how many times did each of you get hurt on your trampolines?
I personally, I never got hurt. Did I hurt people? 100%. And it was mostly like my best friend's like little brother or my other friend's little sister. I do remember one time I drop kicked my buddy. Literally, I can still see this slow motion shot from Jesus. It was probably like 20 years ago at this point, and I don't know if it was a drop kick or just a regular kick, but I kicked him, and he literally did like the generic movie theatric, like, and I watched him just go backwards, and he just was all back onto the ground, and I thought I killed him, and he like got up. He's like, no, I'm good, dude. I was like, oh, thank God, because I thought you did.
Oh, that's hilarious. So obviously I mentioned earlier, like I didn't have anybody to like kind of play with. You know, I just had my stuffies, my Squirtle, my Pikachu. But you know, like I was doing that shit all the time, and I can remember this is a very specific moment. So we're talking, I don't know what year, but probably like 2003, 2004. Think like Velocity era. Okay, so now like in WWE we got Velocity and stuff, all this new talent from the Invasion angle and everything, and the Ruthless Aggression era is rolling out and everything. I remember Billy Kidman, the dude. I remember seeing the shooting star press, and that move infatuated me. And I had already learned how to do a moonsault just on my own on the trampoline. Yeah, I can do a moonsault. What of it?
Do it on ring.
But I will. I'll do it this weekend. Fucking. So I remember trying to learn how to do the shooting star press. So it's just like a backflip, but you're like moving forward as you backflip, right? So I remember learning that, and I nailed it a couple times, and you know, all good and everything. I remember one day I went to go do it, and I don't know what I did wrong, because I already nailed it a couple times successfully. I went to go do it, and I jumped up and I did the backflip and everything, but I did not go forward. So I kind of just went up, and I'm standing on the edge, and I did not go forward to the middle of the trampoline like I was trying to. And I just kind of went up and did a backflip and came straight down. So both of my shins smacked off of the metal out, like the frame of the trampoline. And I have never done a shooting star press ever since. Now, I can't even do it in a pool. I can't do it in a trampoline park. I've tried. I cannot get my body to do that motion anymore. I have completely fucked myself out of doing shooting star presses ever again. It was the most painful thing, other than the bald-faced hornet motherfucker bees. Fucking bastards. Those are two most painful things I've ever experienced in my life.
You know, I have a trampoline with a cage. Like we can come back to this.
I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't need to. I was
just offering you.
It's in the past.
I'm just giving you an opportunity to overcome your fear.
I'm over it.
His shins won't allow it. I mean, they're
The shins are traumatized.
Awful. It was so painful.
Got them trauma shins.
Fucked up, honestly.
All right, so the next one is from Tori Rose in the chat. This is specifically for DK. How do you achieve such amazing space buns? They always look amazing, and mine, well, don't.
Wow, that's a nice question. Nice question. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Thank you. Honestly, I don't know. I'm really happy to hear that. Because most of the time when like I put them up before going out for a match, and it's still a fairly new thing for me that I'm getting used to. I love them. I absolutely do, and that's why I've been doing it. But I still kind of get to that point where it's like I'll do them up, and then I'm looking at them in the mirror, and I'm like, oh, they look so fucking bad. But then like I can't. I do them like 4 or 5 times in a row, and they don't look any different. I'm like ah. So thank you for that. That's awesome. I had that moment a couple Limitless shows ago, and Ava Everett actually, I was like kind of standing like just like in the girls' room, like the door open, because that locker room, like you do that because the men's room is always taken up, and she was like in there doing her makeup too, and she's like, oh, they look great, and like just super sweet. So I appreciate y'all give me compliments on my space buns because I never think they look good. So I don't know how I do it. It's a mystery. I fucking wing it.
Another one from Vic Sage. So when you guys were in bands, what was your favorite song to cover?
I'm out. I don't think I ever covered a song when I was in bands, honestly.
Cute Without the E by Taking Back Sunday.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun.
Hell yeah.
I'd say
Is that with Beach?
No.
Who was that with?
This was like one of my first pop punk bands.
Oh, okay.
I'd say a good second runner up would be Somewhere Down Fullerton by Alistair.
That's such a jam.
Dude, I was the vocalist of this particular pop punk band, and that was the one song that myself and one of my guitar players would switch, and I would play guitar, and I would get to do the little meow 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 meow. Like I just got to do the little lick like at the bridge of the song, and like I just felt so cool. It wasn't anything of an intricate solo whatsoever, but just like being a vocalist in a band and being able to actually like take up an instrument for at least one song and play some stuff, it just showed that you could do a little more than just sing, you know what I mean?
Ooh,
so
fuck, boy.
I had a lot of fun with it.
He's fucking cheeking right now.
All right, so this one's more of a hello, but also a question. So Awesome David was in the chat. He says hi. He goes to all the chaotic events.
Okay.
He's usually hanging out with Queen. He says he wants to know that if WWE came a calling, would you try out for WWE?
Try out, of course.
No.
I mean,
no. And really, not a tryout. No, I mean, we do not fit the mold there anymore. That's a company with very questionable values at this point in time.
Fair.
If you'd asked me that question 4 years ago, absolutely. But yeah, tryout, no. If they came to us with like our dream contract with crazy money, I don't know. It would be hard to say no because I mean, like, I'm fucking on the grind right now, on the road every weekend, working, 48 hours a week, my regular job, you got a house, a family. If they came with like really serious money and nobody else was, it might be hard to say no. But like, is that my dream place? Is that where I want to go? No, it's not. It absolutely is not. I don't know how I feel about that. Even signing a contract there would be like kind of like selling a piece of my soul away. I feel like, you look at a lot of Saudi Arabia stuff. The handling's like all the releases this year, like, and if we're talking a tryout, absolutely not. Why am I going to try out for a place like that? If they came and like, oh, we want you, you know what I mean? Like if we're like probably like an AJ Styles deal, like you guys are going to debut in the Rumble. I don't know how we do that together, but you know what I mean? Like that'd be hard to say no, but like tryout, no, absolutely not. Sorry, I just took the wind out of your sails, but
no, I
think about a lot, honestly.
I look at things more as like the experience and the things that you
and that's valid,
the value that you could gain in.
I mean, the coaching staff there is incredible.
That's more what I was thinking about.
Absolutely.
Like,
okay,
I wouldn't look at it as a realistic sense of like, oh, they're gonna hire us if we do this. Like, no, but like I see it more as an opportunity to grow.
That's fair. That's fair. That's probably the best way.
I
think it was probably both like two opposite sides of the coin, but the best ways that you can look at it. So
those are two well thought out answers. So I commend both of you for those.
Thank you. And again, that's why we compliment each other so well.
All right, so back to Vic Sage. This is one of my favorite questions he usually asks. Specific to tag teams, who has the best gear?
I mean, we have matching gear, but like you're rocking the like 3/4, like you ditch the kick pads. I love that.
I don't kick.
It's fair. I definitely kick.
If we're going anywhere beyond like why I changed up my like gear style, it's because I wore kick pads and I don't really kick. So what's the point?
I don't know.
But like so we're talking about like what tag teams has got the most fire gear.
Oh wait, are we talking about?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I see. I took that as like between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna let you answer it both ways, so that's fine.
Perspective.
I mean,
I'm so like self-centered, but
as far as
waves and curls, dude.
I mean, waves
and curls, man. They're holding that shit down.
They had that Martin
gear,
they got the Monster Inc. gear.
Yeah, waves and curls probably.
Waves
off the top
and
of my head.
curls good.
Main event though. Main event.
Oh yeah,
we're just putting those
they just got that Mad Circus vibe, and like I feel like when I look at their gear, I feel like I'm at the circus. And
like,
I love that.
And I really like too because like they have like their like red and gold gear, which I feel like is their standard, but then they have like that kind of like green and purple. Like, it's like their Mortal Kombat like alternate gear. Like yeah, no, I definitely love that shit. Fuck, we could sit here and talk about.
I mean, you want to talk about like big teams. I mean, the Young Bucks always got fire gear. When the Young Bucks
some stuff
has fucking great gear. Always.
That's fun. Tassels. But
yeah.
Oh man, we could talk all day. I love talking gear.
Mm-hmm.
No, those are all. Yeah, those are. We could probably talk about gear a lot, and we like to talk about gear a lot on here with Vic. So, so I'm gonna kind of combine. The Phantom Ninja has a few questions, and I'm gonna try to rapid fire him a little bit. But how do you guys come up with your moves? So he wanted to know just like all the different moves you guys are coming up with. How do you come up with
I just have ideas. I play with my action figures. I'm like, well, that'd be cool. Hey, we should do that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, every once in a while, he'll come up with something. But I'm definitely more of like the moves guy in the tag team. Yeah, and then we just kind of get it into the workshop and see if it works.
Like I'll think of like maybe a basic groundwork of like something that I want to do, and he'll find a way to make it like more elaborate and interesting. Like I'm basically like, well, I want to pick him up and I want to slam him. And he's like, well, okay, well, why don't we do this, this, and this to get to picking him up and slamming him? And that's kind of how it works. But yeah, no, he pretty much hits it on the head. Like he thinks of most of the things, and then between both of us giving our input, we come up with something fun.
There you go, complimenting each other again.
Yeah, that's what we do. Even when we don't want to.
So you guys touched on this a little bit earlier, but how do you work on remembering your spots throughout a match?
Just kind of going through it. I mean, our tag stuff, like we've been doing it for so long, like
that's stuff we don't have to think about anymore.
Second nature. It's more or less like thinking, like remembering like where things are placed, what the other team is doing, and just kind of remembering the flow and order of a match. And I think, like I said earlier, like I'm kind of like the general, and I can keep it on track. And like you do very good. You hold your own with everything, but you just want to know what you're doing and where you're coming into play. Mm-hmm. I know what's going on with everybody. Worst case Ontario, like if I get off track, which does not happen often, I kind of pride myself on that. It happens here and there, but not very often. Usually the other team get me back on track, or you've gotten me out of a bind or two before for sure. But like if he gets off the rails a little bit, like I'm right there. You know what I mean? Like we do all right. But it's really just like before the match, just like I talk about like walking away and like going through the match in my head, just having that, just calling it a couple times. And I don't know, a lot of it's muscle memory at this point, especially with our specific tag moves and stuff like that. Like we know what those are. We know where those are going. You know what I mean? So it's all the other stuff.
Awesome. All right. I think that's it from the chat. We're going to move on to what we normally call the worst part of the interview. But because I'm running it, are you guys ready for the best part of the interview? the lightning round.
I'm ready for lightning round.
Yeah, babe.
All right. So 10 questions. DK, you're going to start. We'll answer them. Try not to think too hard. And just give us your best answer for each one. And we'll get through it. All right.
You guys got this.
The intro is done. There's no more intro. So here it is. And this is our tag team special lightning round. So here we go. Question number 1. Best duo, Bert and Ernie or Shaggy and Scooby?
Shaggy and Scooby. By a mile. Not even close.
Aggro?
Bert and Ernie.
Favorite tag team titles?
Oh, probably classic like Attitude Era tag team titles. I don't know. It was just like those were the tag team titles when I started watching wrestling, and they just stick out so profoundly in my mind. I could probably think of something better, like design wise, but off the top of my head, that's it.
I still like the Lucky Pro titles because they were green.
The green straps on the Lucky Pro. It's a Massachusetts company in Clinton, Massachusetts. Green straps. Incredible
Titles that we always wanted because we thought they looked so cool but never had the opportunity to hold. But I am always going to come back to that little independent company's tag titles.
Awesome. Who's more likely to get arrested between the two of you?
Me for anything other than public urination.
That's true. That's totally true.
What is your favorite? What is
he'll whip it out wherever he can.
I'll make a bathroom. If I don't have a bathroom, I'll make a bathroom.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
What? All right. What is your favorite seat in your wrestling car?
Anywhere in the back where I can pass out.
Co-pilot. Passenger seat.
You're so fucking responsible.
Front passenger. I'm the only fucking responsible person in the car.
I gotta get up at 8 a.m.
I'm the only person that pays attention to the GPS.
I gotta be to work an hour
that communicates with the driver. Like nobody else does it. When we have a full car full of people, and I give somebody else the co-pilot seat, they fuck it up. They always fuck it up, and I have to take back the co-pilot seat because if I don't, we will not get to the show.
You know this is lightning round, right?
Yeah, but I had to explain myself. Sorry.
Not a fucking cookie.
It's all right. It's all right. Who's got the better dance moves?
Probably him.
Yeah,
honestly, probably him.
Okay.
I mean, like, I'm in shit.
Hey,
like,
lightning round. Shut up, lightning.
Get my shit down. I can
It's a lightning round.
Work my shit a little bit, but no, probably him.
Have you ever experienced a natural disaster?
Honestly, living in Maine, I don't think so.
No.
We've had minor earthquakes here and shit, but like other than crazy ass blizzards and snowstorms, no, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever run into anything like that.
Ice storm in '98. It was a real thing.
That was real. Looked it up. Ice storm in '98.
If one of you won the lotto, would you share with the other?
Yeah, it would go. Part of it, I don't care how much it is. Part of it would go to wrestling. You know, gear, merch, shit like that, furthering our careers.
Even if it wasn't exclusively like, hey, here's some money. Like,
yeah,
no, yeah, we would both benefit from that.
Even then, probably still would. You know what I mean? We're close like that.
Awesome.
I know we care a lot, but yeah, we are.
So DK says he's giving Aggro money, but I haven't heard Aggro say anything.
Oh no, I just took that as that was the universal answer.
Oh,
like,
okay.
It's mutual
sentiments.
Val, you keep trying to like put a wedge between these guys.
Yeah, I was just curious.
We already had enough with the pickle debacle and the pancake waffle debacle. I'd share.
We're in some debacle. We've been in some debacles.
If I win the lottery, he's entitled to a fraction of it. I don't know what the size that fraction is, but yeah.
All right. Question number 8. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes.
Yeah.
Question 9. Who gives better birthday presents?
Yeah.
Yeah, your thoughtfulness has made me want to be more thoughtful. So I have gotten you a thoughtful gift because you have given me a thoughtful gift first.
Aww.
I legitimately didn't know how to answer that, so I guess I'll just say that. Yeah, I guess that's true because you put a lot more thought into that answer than I could have ever. Thank you.
It's a lightning round. I had to think off the top of my head.
Yep, you did.
Just what came to me.
All right. And question 10. If your car got a flat tire, who's changing it?
Me.
Him. I can do it.
Shit about cars.
I can change a fucking tire.
He knows
I just
absolute shit
don't
about
want to, and I know he'll do it. I just have no desire to do it. I can do it. If I was by myself, I need to change a tire. I can change a tire. I don't know much about cars, but I can change a tire. I just don't want to ever.
I believe you. I believe you. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the lightning round. You guys have survived. Great job. Thank you so much. Val, back to you.
That was a very lengthy lightning round, but that's okay.
Sorry,
This has been a very.
we have to elaborate always.
This has been a very lengthy interview, which I much appreciate, you guys. Thank you so much for spending your night with me and the people in chat and Chris. I certainly appreciate it. I was so excited to speak with you guys.
We went 3.5 hours. Holy shit! You're like
By far my longest.
like 1.5, maybe 2 since your tag team. 3.5 hours later. Oh my god!
You're easy to talk to.
Yeah. Well, it was mostly just us. Just
Yeah, we
honestly.
involuntary word vomit. You know.
Yeah, that's us. That's what you get. I'm sorry.
That's the vibe, baby.
I'm so grateful for it. I love it. It's been so much fun for me.
I'm
So
glad.
just to wrap up, what do you have coming up? You guys are everywhere all the time, so I know you guys have upcoming shows.
Oh geez. Well, let's start off with this weekend. We'll be this Friday, December 10th, Limitless Wrestling. We are having our rubber match, the third and maybe not final match with the Workhorsemen Anthony Henry and JD Drake. We are 1-1 in Limitless Wrestling, and we're going to settle the score, baby.
In 2 out of 3 falls.
2 out of 3 falls.
Tag team 2 out of 3 falls. Sure to be fucking crazy and ridiculous. I don't know what to expect, but the best team vibe. Next night we're going to New Jersey for Pro Wrestling Magic. We are defending our newly won Pro Wrestling Magic Tag Team Championships, World Tag Team Championships.
Yeah, right.
They were defended in England. Not by us, I wish. But we're defending them in a TLC match against Meat Locker and Brick City Boys. And hopefully we don't die.
Yep.
So that's that.
We'll win, but we don't want to be dead.
I want to be in one piece.
We don't want to be in winning fashion dead. So
after that, we get a couple weeks off, which is really nice this time of year.
A little time away for the holidays.
Couple
be with
weeks.
the family and
Wrestleville.
Wrestleville.
Festival?
Restival? Is that how it's pronounced?
Restival.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like festival, but with rest.
We'll be back with
Sure.
Restival,
That
which
sounds
is a full festival of the It's a wrestling festival.
We're gonna be at Limitless Wrestling at the White Eagle for Restival, whatever you want to call it, on January 1st. I believe what time is Limitless shows? It's 7 or 9. It's the last show of that little 3-day weekend.
It is the show to end Restival.
We're not booked on anything else at this time. I don't really see that changing at this point. The cards seem pretty set. Just Limitless Wrestling, and then going into January, I'm not sure, the dates are on my phone, which we are talking into right now.
But we got a lot of stuff going on. Don't worry.
We got a website, mspvibes.com. I will update the schedule in the next day or two, hopefully. Go check out where we're going to be. It'll actually probably be more like a week. I'm a slacker sometimes. But we got merch on there too. It's pretty rad.
Are we in the proper time for plugging all of our stuff?
Yes, perfect segue. Just was gonna ask, where can people find you online and follow you and tweet at you or talk at you or however?
Twitter and Instagram at I am the DangerKid. Twitter and Instagram, he is aggro.
I have a mouth.
So do I. Twitter and Instagram, MSP is the vibe. Go find us. We're also on Facebook. If you just type in all those names and whatnot, you can find us. We got our YouTube. We got our song Drip Drop. It's not our song, but it's our theme song. It's on Spotify.
Done by the one and only Ed E. Ruger.
Yep.
Like don't get it twisted. Like it is our song, but he is the brain behind the entire
Written
thing.
And performed by
Eddie Ruger.
But,
and it is available on Spotify, Amazon,
Music.
Apple Music,
Tidal.
It's a lot of things also that we are not familiar with that are in other countries, but like you can get it there too.
Pretty much anything. YouTube,
pretty much.
you can find it. It's out there.
You want to book us? DM us, baby.
Yeah. Get a hold of us.
Book them.
We're fun, right?
Let us do your podcast for 3.5 hours. Actually, no, I don't want to do a podcast for 3.5 hours.
Unless it's with them.
Unless it's on the stack. And we've already done that. So this is the one and only 3.5 hour podcast we're ever going to do.
Yeah, you can only see it here.
But if you want to do like an hour-long podcast, hit us up. If you want to book us on your show, hit us up. If you want us to come to your birthday party and like help you blow out your candles, like hit us up. I am not legally able to, but I'll officiate your wedding, like whatever you want. You're like, just let us know.
Yeah,
you know,
we're fine.
So yeah.
Well, once again, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. This has been a blast. You guys are so much fun. It was so good to finally talk to you. I really hope that I actually get a chance to see you in person sometime.
Don't worry.
Sure.
I'd really enjoy that for myself. But once again, thank you so much for hanging out. As always, this has been The Stack. I'm Val Pancakes. This has been MSP. Be sure to check them out at Limitless Pro Wrestling Magic, on Restable, on Twitter and Instagram, and their website. And do you guys have merch somewhere else?
We have pro wrestling tees. We haven't updated in a long time. We're trying to do a lot of that stuff in-house. So go to our website. That's the best way to support us. We make all our merch. Well, we don't make the merch, but we get it ordered and everything. Come with the designs. I ship everything out from our web store myself. So yeah, that's the best way to support us for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, chat, for joining us tonight. Be sure to stop by next week. Same stack time, same stack place. And I will be talking to Mose. So Jumpin' Johnny Mosley, commentator for a bunch of promotions in the Southeast. So stop by and hang out with me then. And once again, thank you so much, MSP.
Thank you.
Thank you. We love you, Val. And all the chat.
I love you too.
That was the best. This was fun.